What's going on?
Not much. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. You had the eventful day today. I had it yesterday. You got it today.
Finally, I had it. Yeah, I was down at the farmer's market doing little honey sales today, and heck, somebody come over there and said, "Hey, man, I need you to come follow me." I said, "What's wrong?" They said, "Got something I need you to see." I said, okay. In fact, I was on the phone with you.
Yep, we're
I got over there and I'm like, Bob, I'm gonna have to call you back. I got a swarm in a tree. And I was thinking it was 15, 20 foot high. I wasn't really paying too much attention until I brought out my ladder, had to throw it in the back of a truck, stand on it, 12-foot pole on top of that, and still barely reached the hive.
Well, it was OSHA approved.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Did you have a harness on and a hard hat?
What was funny, I sent you that picture and Ty Kent the picture. Both of y'all both sent back OSHA approved.
Really?
One of you put OSHA approved. The other one that said, "Is that OSHA approved?"
I said OSHA approved.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
almost
awesome.
identical time y'all both text.
Well, my Gamber Mountain container showed up on Gamber Containers. I don't know why. Where did we come up with that mountain?
I don't know. I keep on saying the same thing every time.
Well, we'll put that mountain right next to my unbottling tank. Anyway, this is what the finished product looked like. The stupid background.
Yeah, it looked pretty good.
So I think we need to just make a brand for all of our people that watch our channel. Mm-hmm. Our channels that just says Nectar from the Gods, and it's got like Zeus on it. And I think that'd be a cool marketing for honey. But
that'd be good looking.
So so that's what I did. I bottled up today. I did a little short video, just kind of going back over what I did yesterday, because I wasn't real happy with the video I did yesterday because so much was going on. And you get to that point. I like to just go slow. I'm not in a big hurry. But once that swarm happened, I felt like everything I wanted to do was just kind of rushed. And the video looked like that as well.
Kind of got off train of thought and what was going on.
It's more difficult than it looks, isn't it?
Yeah.
To stay on task. And then most importantly, not repeat something you've already said, that you've done. So kudos.
That was my problem today with the swarm. I hurried up. I told him, look, I said, I'm going to leave right now. Watch my booth for me. I'm going to get my tools. I could not find my telescope and extension pole to put a bucket on. So I said, I'm not even going to bring the duct tape now because I can't find my pole. That ain't no good. Right. We get there. We find a piece of conduit on the side of the building. And it technically was 3 pieces of conduit, a couple of foot long each. And somehow they wedged them in and put it screwed so they was all kind of flopping together. Well, just so happened somebody else had some duct tape, so we threw duct tape and then a ratchet strap around it, and it got the job done, but it wasn't pretty.
Hey, Ricky, that thing filled up a nuke, and when he flipped over the lid for the nuke, it looked like he had a birthday cake in there. There was so many bees on top.
It was thick of bees.
About 2-3 inches thick of bees on the lid, and the box was slammed full.
Yeah.
So how many?
I was surprised I got them in that 5 frame. But I knew as soon as they were in there and I seen how many it was, I knew they had to go in a 10 frame. If not, they'd want to be swarming tomorrow morning on me.
Well, you had to catch the queen or they wouldn't all came down and went in.
Yeah. It took 3 different times. I clipped the video, but every time you see me kind of ram the bucket up to them, that was another time that I went up the ladder because I'd hit it one time, dump one in, and I'd get down off the truck and wait a little bit, and they'd go right back to the limb.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Going back to shitty beekeeping gear to not buy ever in your life, never ever again, if you've bought it, at least for me. Ceracell feeders. They
And
suck. They suck. They're not cheap. First off, they're about $30 or something like that. You can get and the 5-frame. So what happens is you've got basically a feeder shim, right? And then you've got a plastic tray that sits down in them. The problem is the plastic tray is not recessed into the wood. They haven't like put an edge where it sits down. So when you put it on top, at least with the Nuke, there's 2 squares, probably about maybe that big on it, right? So there's 2 squares that sit on top of that feeder ring, which leaves a gap, probably about that wide, or maybe about an inch wide down the center. Well, the bees can get up under your lid and walk all in the inside. So, as far as like robber bees, so I thought, well, the swarm that I caught yesterday, they don't have any resources in that colony. So I was like, well, let me just put this Ceracell feeder on there. Oh my God. My milkshake brought all the girls to the yard today for real. I mean, that was like they were trying to rob that box. Not really the box. They weren't trying to get in. They were trying to get to the top and get in there. So I didn't take it off after that to see how many actually got in there and drowned. So if they didn't get in there and drowned, at least the swarm can get to it from the inside.
Yeah. But say at least, any robbers that were coming were trying to get into the top of the feeder, not through the entrance of your hive.
And then if they don't drink it all down, then you're trying to lift off on the big ones, a gallon or a feed off the top of them, or a half gallon. It's in this.
And you got it all sloshing around.
Yeah. And then where do you set it, right? You set it over to the side with the lid on top of it, maybe. But, then you got every bee in the yard wanting to come get a drink, so it's not very nice.
No.
Not very, so I'm really having a inner turmoil for feeding. Like I've got those splits, I need to feed them, but I know if I put feed in them Nukes, they're going to get robbed unless I get a bunch of hardware cloth and,
reduce that entrance.
I've got them reduced down pretty well right now, but when you've got nurse bees on a frame of brood and a queen in there that they're taking care of, there's not, in those new splits, there's not very many foragers or guard bees that are just like hanging out to stop bees from coming in. So it becomes a little bit of a challenge. So now I'm like, feed, not feed. I don't have any sugar bricks left that I can just pop a sugar brick on top, Yeah. And it would take a couple days for them to dry out at that point. So
only other option I'd say, if you're not wanting to put a top feeder in a whole lot of feed, if you got a frame of drone cone, maybe don't have pollen or just an open area where there's nothing at, turn it on its side and pour you just a little 1-to-1 in it. You don't have to fill the cell up. Just get it halfway full in a little area.
I wonder if I got
put it back in there. At least they'll have a little feed.
If I got one of them condiment bottles like you got from the dollar store and put some 1-to-1 in it and just put it in the cells.
Yep,
that might work. I might do that. At least
that'll give them a little feed. Just put it right next to the brood area. That way they're not having to travel too far away from the brood.
Right. I did check all my queens today. All of them are getting love and tenderness from the bees. So that's good. And they're making short work of the fondant in the hole. So hopefully
I hadn't really tried to fondant yet.
Well, they stuff the fondant down in the queen cell.
Oh, you talking about in the cage?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're eating that out pretty fast, actually. I think maybe tomorrow night or sometime tomorrow, they'll probably most of them be released, especially if they're in a stronger colony. So we'll see. I had to fight my urge to be an idiot today, though. I'll tell you that, because when I saw them like all over them, taking care of them, I felt like, I could probably pop her open and let her go down in there. But I decided, no, I'm just going to let them do their thing and make it happen. So, all right. So, Ricky said, Lee, how big was the swarm?
Big. I was just trying to pull a video up of it, but I rendered it out in H.265, and Chrome and StreamYard won't do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's
It'll do the 264, but not 265. But it was 5 full frames in the Nuke plus the lid. I had a feeder ring on it, and the whole feeder ring in the lid was completely full. If I wouldn't have put them in a 10-frame box today, they'd probably been wanting to swarm again in the morning.
Well,
and as it is, I took the telescoping lid off of it after the video and went back and put a migratory lid that I have a hole in, put a 1-gallon bucket of 1-to-1 on it. And because it's got 5 combs in there that was completely drawn out, or 3/4. 4 of them was drawn out. 1 of them had a little bit on one side. So there's 5 other ones that are just waxed, no comb. So I figured throw the 1-to-1 to them. That'll give them a little feed since they just swarm. I mean, they carry some with them, but that'll give them some 1-to-1, finish drawing out those other 5 combs, feed, and get on trying to brood up quick.
Well, the I've got some weird activity happening in my bee yard today. I had the swarm yesterday, which I caught, but now my swarm bucket.
Twice.
Yeah, I caught the same one twice. I didn't do it right the first time. Evidently, I had to do it again. But they're in the box. They're on a hive stand. But now the swarm bucket that I used, I sprayed the swarm. Now I've sprayed Swarm Commander in it, and it's got the breakable vial in it and all that. I've had all that in it, and a little bit of old slum gum comb, right? Some old comb, and today there was bees going in and checking it out, and on the front of it, just a little patch of them, not a lot. And then I had on my nucleus row, I had 2 double deep nukes. Now there was a bunch of them on the landing board checking out the other one. And there's nothing in there for them to rob out. So I don't know if there's a feral colony somewhere getting ready to swarm, or if there's one hanging on a tree around here somewhere that's trying to find a new box, but I never saw if anything moved in it today.
No. Might get lucky and get a feral.
Next couple of days, and there are bees flying around,
Yep.
So,
once they start bringing that pollen in, they've done claimed that they setting up home.
Well, I still haven't found my camera, and I'm burning a pizza one of these days. Yeah. Excuses, Mike. Excuses. I'm sure there's a Walmart somewhere close to you that's got a webcam.
Amazon, next day delivery.
But we haven't even shared a link yet tonight. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll copy and paste it over here for you guys.
You got it ready, or you want me to drop it?
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it right here. Well, that don't look right. What the hell? Hold on, let me try it.
Bruce.
Yeah, there it is. It came out right. Hey, Bruce. So yeah. So, I haven't gotten any calls for any wild swarms or anything like that, but I have, I caught one of my own twice, and Lee caught a feral one today.
Yeah, and they didn't even have to call me. I was already there.
You were there. They came and met you at the market.
it probably wasn't 75 foot from my little booth. And
Man,
I never paid attention. Somebody just walked over and said, "Hey, I need you to come look at something."
Did they see them flying around and everything? Or were they already on the branch?
Somebody just said they looked up there and they seen them. I mean, they were kind of on the branch. They had a few flying around. But I'd never heard anything. I wasn't even looking up to pay attention to it.
That's pretty cool, man.
It kind of surprised me because it was a little bit windy down there this morning.
Well, they might have came earlier in the day and just hadn't found a place yet.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to hurry up and get them before they took off again. So I left all my honey. I left my cash box, everything sitting in my booth. And
hey, it's probably yours that swarmed out of that other yard the other day. They were just chilling, waiting on you.
Well, the thing is, the people that own all the property for the farmers market and they got a bar and a restaurant there, they live back behind it. Well, their daughter-in-law has 2 hives back there.
Oh, it's probably
But
hers then.
it could have been a swarm out of one of her hives that overpopulated and swarmed out, or it could have just been feral because they do have a lot of feral bees in that area too. I mean, it's right on the river. From my stand to the river, probably less than 50 foot behind me.
Oh, okay. Well, man, that's I'm waiting on some good luck like that.
Yeah.
The who else in here? We got James, Noel, we got Bobby's Bees, we got Bruce from Swarmstead,
Bruce, Rich.
Mike from
Rich is over
Kool-Aid,
on my channel.
we got
Ricky's
Ricky,
over on.
we got Tom. We got a lot of people in here.
Yeah,
Full
definitely Ricky. Free 99, like Bob says.
Yep, free 99. That's the best bees ever. The I'm waiting to. I haven't even gotten a call since my first season to come remove bees or anything like that. So we'll see. I actually thought, hey, what would you guys think if I got my truck wrapped? I got that black truck, right? Wrap it like black and yellow, right? And put something about bees on it, or Walker Bee Ranch or something.
Just get the whole thing wrapped in honeycomb.
Honeycomb. Wrap it all in honeycomb.
Spray a little swarm command or something on it, they'll come to you.
They'll just land right on it. I could just dip my truck in wax. You know how they do in the plastic dip?
Yep.
We'll do a wax dip my truck. And hey, at least wouldn't have to worry about waxing it again. It would just be waxed all the time.
There you go.
So I think that's expensive though. The wrap, I think it's probably like $1,200 or something.
That I'm not sure. I've never really looked into it.
$1,200 deduction.
True.
So that's interesting. But nobody wants to join us tonight. Come on, Ricky, join us.
Yeah, come on, Ricky. Last time you had bad internet. It's working better tonight. Give it a try.
Lee said if you join, he'll give you his dog.
I might have. Me and Ricky both might have to fight Renee for that one.
It ain't gonna happen, right? But yeah. So just thinking about different things and hanging out today. Really, I mean, I wish I would have. There really wasn't much after doing what I did yesterday. There wasn't much I could do today, right? Because I went through every colony. Okay, here's a question. Hold on. I have a question. I lived in Minnesota for 13 years. I started my beekeeping journey up there. It's a whole different ball game up there. Do y'all ever? Yes.
Yeah.
Skull Vikings to Minnesota. I do. I did. The thing is, you got to look at, Kim, where are you at now? Where are you at now? I know you were in Minnesota, but where are you living now, state-wise? For me, I got into trouble my first season splitting colonies. You got to make sure you don't split them too weak. Depending where you're at, if you're in like Pennsylvania and don't have small hive beetles and stuff like that, then maybe you're okay. But down here, if you split them too weak, oh, you're near me, Kim. I'm in just outside of Columbia. So
might be having somebody here in a little bit too.
Huh?
Somebody may be coming to visit here in a few minutes.
Who?
Ricky.
Ricky?
Yeah, it says give me a few minutes.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, like you were saying, I just don't split them too heavy. Make sure, you got enough population.
And then it depends what you're splitting too. If you're splitting a 10 frame or a nuke, because if you're making a nuke out of a nuke, sometimes the split's going to be pretty weak. So,
yeah. If that 5-frame nuke fills up pretty heavy and it's still early in the flow, I'd say do 1 split on it, but that'd be about it. 1.
So kind of if I'm the way you're going to do it, right? You made a few splits, a couple splits right now, but you're trying to keep them strong for the honey.
Yeah.
And then after the honey flow, you'll make splits again.
Yeah.
For the fall.
Once I start pulling all my honey supers off, all them bees, they're not going to fit in that one deep box and a medium that I leave on them. So I'm
Right.
going to grab some queens and then use the Nicot to produce queens. That way, as soon as I'm pulling supers, make a split, and I could drop either a queen cell or a virgin queen in.
Well, I've done so many manipulations. When I say manipulations, I mean, obviously I'm doing a Demaray on one, but I've checkerboarded so they'll draw a comb. And then I reduced them from like doubles and triples back to from a triple to a double and from a double to a single, right? So I've stuffed them in a tighter box. But then once I stuffed them in the tighter box, my idea was to get them to really brood heavy and work that box out, and then put a super on them right away to give them room to start expanding up. Obviously, our flow is going to start here in the next couple weeks. Should hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. And so that, that's been the plan right now for me, was to get back to those singles and make splits. So that's why I went and got queens. I took one colony, split it in half, and made 2 colonies out of it with queens. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a chess game, right? You just got to assess each colony, and if it's ready to split, you split it. Let the bees tell you what to do.
Yeah. Like I said, if it's still early in the flow, I mean, you could do a small split. Just make sure they have plenty of pollen and nectar in both sides of your split, and then leave one of them that is like a walkaway split. If you don't have another queen or a mated queen, let them make their own queen. They still have enough time of the flow to build up.
Yeah,
that you might not get honey off of it this year, but they'll build up population, at least put some nectar back for the dearth.
And depending on how many bees you have in the donor colony, you may not get honey off of that colony either if you split it too weak, right?
Yeah.
So
that's why I like the single brood management. They seem to build up a lot faster in that single box versus having to fill 2 deeps up and then go into the supers. You're only filling the 1 deep and then straight into the super work.
Well, the Kim, is it a 10 frame, 8 frame, 5 frame, deeps, mediums? How do you got it set up? Give us a little bit better context of what you're working with, because I mean, it's early in the season right now. So if you were going to do a split, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm saying what I would do early in the year. So what I would do, if I was looking to expand colonies and wasn't too concerned about the honey, I would probably checkerboard. If it was like, let's say a 10 frame deep single, I'd probably, okay, you're running 8 and just purchase a 5 frame nuke. All right. So then you're going to take, depending on the amount of brood in your 8, you'll probably take 2 frames of brood out, move that to your 5, put 2 new foundations in the 8 that you just took out, and put 3 over on the other side. Just make sure they've got some nectar and pollen that you're moving with them for the brood when it hatches out.
Take the 2 frame of brood, maybe a frame of pollen, and then some nectar, and your last one drop just a wax frame in.
So the way I typically do it, and you may, if this may not be how you do it, Lee, but I usually take 1 frame that has all stages of larva on it, everything from brand new eggs to big fat larva, and then I take 1 frame of cap brood that's in the process of getting ready to hatch out. That way they have the resources to make a new queen. If you just put cap brood in there, they may not even be able to generate their own queen. But if you're doing a walk away.
Yeah.
But depending where you're at in the upstate, there's people up there that sell queens and stuff. So you could probably get a queen, or let me see, up there, you never do that first year. It takes them forever to build. Well, yeah, in Minnesota, the season is so short, right? It's short. So they've got to do all their work and everything really quick. I mean, here I put in brand new foundation, and they've drawn it out in several of my colonies. So just every geographic region is going to be a little bit different. Let's see, I've got
The further south, the better.
yeah,
I just had to say it.
I'm trying to serve two masters as we speak here. I've got people messaging me about honey. I like it when you make a post and somebody says, "Here's the guy with the honey we talked about the other day." So, whoop, whoop. Come and get some. Come and get it. I got it right here.
I sold a little bit of honey today at the market. I was down. Well, the market was like 5 hours. I was only there about 4 hours of it because I had to leave, come home, get the truck, get some tools, go back and get ready to pull a swarm out. And I done like 27 bottles.
Yeah, but if you think about it, so we'll say, was it 27 1-pounders? We'll say pounds. We'll just do it for ease of numbers. So you sold 27 pounds of honey, and then you got $200 worth of bees on top of that.
Yep,
So
it was a good day.
it was a good day.
That was better than free 99.
I know, man. You got like double, just double it all up.
Got a good bonus.
The I wish every day was like that.
I wish I wouldn't go to work no more.
Oh, I know, right? I had this time I put the honey up and I'm getting people just not as much as I did the last time, not as fast, like people just showing up. Maybe tomorrow's the day. We don't know. But I'm selling a little bit every day and they have to come to my house. It's not like I'm sitting at a place where there's just a bunch of people, right? They come to my house and pick it up. So it's a little bit interesting, but I talked a little bit about this with you. So we were talking about jars and stuff like that the other day. I bought this little jar, wherever, if I can do it, on Amazon. I want to say it was $30 for 40 of them. I don't know what that ends up being, but it's less than $1. It's $5. Man, the stupid background thing. So it's this is actually a half a pound of honey. It doesn't look like it, I know, but it is. It's actually a little bit better than a half a pound of honey. So I figured this would be like a $5 jar. Actually, that's a little bit cheap for that, but it looks small. So I feel like, people may or may not buy the small jar, but I got a couple of these small jars now.
I was about to say sometimes, I mean, even if it's a half pound and you're doing $10 a pound, half pound jar, you would think $5, but you still got to pay for all them jars.
Right.
And sometimes my 8-ounce jars that I had, they cost more than my 16-ounce jars.
I know.
That's why I quit doing the 8-ounce.
And if you don't buy them, I mean, when you buy them, this is like a small box, right? Oh crap! Stupid thing. Well, anyway, you can see the blacked out box right here. This is 40 jars in this box. And I mean, that's the cost. It's almost like the bigger container you could sell, the better you are off as far as the jars, unless you buy them from Gamber Container and get them for 30 cents a piece.
Hey, you said it right that time.
I know. I had to think about it though. I was about to say Mountain. Hey, there he is
downstairs. And bring Ricky in here.
I had to think about it though. I was about to say Mountain. We got
You got a loop.
Dirt Rooster swag on and everything.
There he is downstairs.
Oh.
In here.
We can hear you looping through, Ricky.
We got a loop in there. You got earphones or click that echo cancellation?
There he is
Oh,
downstairs.
he just dropped. There's when you come in, when you're doing the setup for the microphone, there's actually a box that says echo cancellation, and I guess it digitally does it. I don't know.
Yeah, if you click on the audio tab or audio selection, then you click echo cancellation, and it helps eliminate that.
Let me see. I split 2 Russian packages last year at about 7 weeks. The drought ended in August and got a little honey. That's good. The Well, Lee said he had some packages he put in last year and got what, two supers off
They
of
were
it?
nukes,
Nukes.
5-frame nukes, and I got 2 supers off each one of them.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean, when our tallow hits, we have a heavy flow here.
Well, I mean, this will be the first year that, knock on wood, that hopefully I have when I say a good year, last year for what I was working with was a good year for me, because I went from 4 nukes to going into winter with 15 singles and doubles and triples. I had a couple triples deeps, right? So, but they were building up the whole year. So this year is the first one that I'm going into with what could be considered legitimate production type of colony. There, you back?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I can hear you now. AT&T's working.
That's right. How you doing?
Ricky?
Doing pretty good, guys. How you guys doing?
You know, we're no-life beekeepers that have nothing better to do any night of the week but get on YouTube and talk about beekeeping. And
Right. Well, I'd rather be doing what Lee was doing and getting some swarms, man. That's a lot of fun right there.
I need more of them. I just need them lower.
yeah,
Not
Rolo,
quite so high.
Yeah.
you should have went out there and just hung you a swarm trap. Now,
Yeah. When you got a 12-foot ladder in the back of a truck and then a 12-foot pole and can still barely reach, they up there.
Yeah, they're
But it
way
was
up.
worth it. It was well worth it.
so how many hives do you have that you're currently building for people?
We're probably about 26 hives right now. Yeah.
Wow.
A
So
lot
what
of
kind
work.
of? I know you got a family life and everything too. So what? I mean, obviously you can't do it 24/7. So what kind of, like, if someone ordered tomorrow, how long do you think it would be before their hive would be ready?
Oh man, we're just running behind. We just can't keep caught up. I mean, we're only doing about 2 a week, but it's still busy. We're pushed out till June, and a lot of them are custom hives, and they want
Right.
little nick or little things changed in them, and so yeah, it's we're just backed up, and we're not very big. We're just a small company, and just trying to build some hives for some people, and you know, I work for GE Aviation. You know, I make airplane engines, so you know, it's not my full-time job, but
Right.
it's with a farm and a business and working. It's rough right now. I'll be honest
It
with you.
is a lot.
Especially
But
when
like you say, I mean, you're
coming
just a
into
small
beekeeping.
company right now.
Yeah.
Everybody starts out as that small company, and it just builds exponentially. And you're doing a good job on your stuff too.
I appreciate that, Lee. And Earl, it's nice seeing you on here also.
He'll probably pop in. He pops in most nights.
Yeah.
Hey,
Out of all of your horizontal hives you doing, what would be your most popular one that you selling?
Probably the standard horizontal hive is the one I'm selling the most, but that new nuke/queen rearing hive that you've got, that's really starting to pick up. And you know, I don't do any marketing, so most of it comes from YouTube. So people are seeing what everybody else is using and going from there. I delivered one down to Durham to a guy, and he did a 3-frame nuke/queen rearing hive, and I really like that design. You don't get quite as many bees in the box, but you know, a little stronger queen on the queen rearing side of it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I mean, they're beautiful.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And had I
They
not
he-
spent
they
all
heavy
the money
duty, too.
early in the year, I'd have one sitting in my backyard right now.
Yeah, believe me, they heavy duty. Because when me and Ricky carried that thing through my yard all the way to the back, oh yeah, we was a little winded when we got there.
I kept telling Lee, do you want to stop? Do you want to stop? Because I needed a break.
Yeah, that's how I do it. How you doing? How you holding up over there? Don't show your weakness. Try to exploit their weakness. Oh, that's
Yeah.
fine. No, we can take a break right now. It's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about here, though. You can just drive your truck right to where we were dropping it off and just plop it down.
Yeah.
It's but I aspire to get one of the Queen rearing newts. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at them, by the time for what you're offering, by the time you would go to Man Lake or something and buy the boxes and and the bottom boards and the inner covers and the lids and everything else. I mean, if the price is what Lee paid for it, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we give Lee a little bit of a discount because we had made a hive. We actually made an extra one by accident. And I told Lee, I said, hey, I got an extra one and we're headed down into your area. And he's like, yeah, hook me up, man. So,
just drop it off on the way.
Hey, even if I would have had to go meet him somewhere, I would have went.
yeah.
Well, the thing
I
is, I mean,
wanted that thing.
We really don't live too terribly far away from each other. Couple 2-3 hours, right?
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
So
I went today and bought. Well, not today. It was yesterday. I bought 3 nukes, and they costed me $200 for 3 nukes, and they weren't even assembled. And with that hive that I build, that's you're basically getting 6 nukes in there. So
right.
You get to keep using it over and over and over again. So
yeah, that's for sure. I mean, it's beekeeping is no, we're talking about horizontal Langstroth hives. I guess you could use it for a top bar hive.
Yeah, I'm going to build me a top bar hive coming up pretty soon if I can get it in the production. My dad and my uncle right now are about to kill me because they're retired and I'm working them all the time. And it's fishing season and turkey season right now, and
right.
they don't want to be working. So,
and you show up and be like, "Did you get that hive done today?" Well, why not? What's the holdup? What do we need? What's going on?
Yeah. I have to be careful with my dad because he'll sick my mom on me. So
he'd be like, "Well, if you don't like this speed, you really won't like my other speed."
Yeah.
Hey,
but I really do want to fly a top bar, Kim, and I want some cut comb, and we've got a lance hive, and we're about to do a log hive horizontally also. So we're going to go horizontal all the way this year with a lot of hives.
Let me see.
Believe me, this ain't going to be the only one that I get. I'm sure I'm going to be getting another one.
Big Earl.
Big of the devil.
Hey, big question for Ricky.
What's in your bucket?
Yeah.
Wasn't that cool? What's in your bee bucket? Ricky, I emailed you guys a while back letting you know about some curly maple stash that I had. And I wanted to give you a load of it, but I had never got a reply from the email.
Huh. Well, Earl, I'll tell you what, I'll give you my email again, and you send it to me again. And I don't know why I didn't get it. I should have, but I mean, I'd love to have some. Absolutely.
It's scraps. I've got a buddy of mine. He cuts wood for Gibson.
Uh-huh.
And they bring it all around the country to him, and he cuts wood for Gibson guitars. But I get his scraps, and there's a lot of beautiful tiger striped curly maple in that, and I'll be glad to get you a load of it, brother. It's free to me. It's free to you.
Hey, brother, I'll take it. I mean, I tell you what, you'd be amazed at the scraps that we use on different parts of our hives, and man, I'll take it. Every little piece counts, especially with lumber going up right now. I mean, it's outrageous.
It is getting crazy.
It is, man.
I don't know.
Well, this stuff here, it's like a 1.25 inches thick, and you can cut it into 2 3/4 inch slices and glue it together, bookmark it. You can make some pretty stuff with it. I know you can with your skills. I mean, I'm not blowing smoke, dude. You got skills. Don't you, guys?
I appreciate that, Earl. I mean, we try real hard to make a good quality hive, and with every hive's a little different. The wood, might bow or buckle or twist or something, and each hive has its own personality. So it makes it kind of interesting sometimes trying to build a hive perfect every time.
Bristol, Virginia, Tennessee is halfway between you and I.
Okay.
And my grandson lives there anyway, so I can be down there and we can meet. I don't care to bring you a load of it.
Yeah. Where are you located at, man?
Hayside, Virginia, man. It's Dickinson County. I'm on the Virginia-Kentucky line.
Okay, well, I'm kind of headed out towards Kentucky, probably about your way. I might be able to stop in and meet you. And I got 2 hives to deliver. We did that free horizontal hive for a drawing, and we haven't delivered that hive to that gentleman. And we have another lady by the name of Evelyn, and she won the Lance hive, and she's disabled, so she's in a wheelchair. So we're going to drop that hive off to her as we head that way. So maybe I'll get to stop in and pick up some wood and get to meet you, brother.
Yeah, I'll take you down there. We'll meet the guy that runs the sawmill and get you some select lumber.
Okay.
No problem, brother, whatsoever.
So,
Tu es mi hermano.
so while we got Ricky on here, Lee, why don't you show that clip of your beautiful?
That's what I was trying to find. I can't remember what file I had it under.
No, you know exactly. You're like so OCD.
I know, that's what's bothering me because I'm OCD and I can't find it.
Lee said when he passes away one day, he wants Ricky to make him a horizontal casket.
Yeah. My dad tells me that all the time. He said, just put me in one of these boxes.
Just
I want a horizontal hive that I can raise the lid on and lay on top of it and just feel the bees vibrate.
You know, Lee, Earl, you say that, and I had a lady call me wanting me to build something like that where she could lay inside like a tanning bed inside her hive. Yeah, on top of it.
I would love it.
all you got to do is walk near mine. They're going to buzz all over you, zap you. And don't, man, they hate this watch. I love my watch. They hate this watch. It's a black watch. And I don't know if it's the shine off the glass or what, but when I'm walking through the yard, man, they just want to tear this watch up. It's crazy. You didn't find it yet?
Yeah, I found it. I'm about to bring it up. I had to remember.
I'm about to find me a new producer. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it might have to because I done got lost here.
What about these guys
He
last
pays
night?
all the bills. No, I'm just kidding. He does though. He pays.
I got off last night, and you guys are like, "Yeah, we're getting off too," and you went another hour.
Or Charlie got in, and we
Last
can't.
night?
Sometimes it's hard to get off of here. Oh, and
Hey,
then
that boom-
when we got off, we actually still talked for another 30 minutes in the back,
Yeah.
in the VIP suite. Matter of
Yeah,
fact, you can all be here. This is how YouTube influencers do it. And if you guys want to come to the after party after the stream, all you have to do is hit that little $sign button in the bottom. And anybody who donates to the stream can come into the after party afterwards.
All right,
All right.
here's that video coming up.
It's a silent movie, but it's good. Look at that beautiful thing.
It is pretty, man. Work of art.
Now the 2x4s that you have as the legs right there, are they treated with anything or?
Yeah,
are they
they're
pretty-
they're treated, and that's why we don't paint them because the paint just flakes off of them.
I got you. When I looked at this in the sunlight, man, I swore that you were using like a enamel paint.
Yeah, it's just all natural wood inside. It's just plywood.
Man, I'll tell you what, that tiger stripe curly maple would look good for some lids.
Oh, you better believe it.
I'm loving this hive.
So that can be 12 2-frame queen rearing nukes, or
Six
Well, you
5
break it
frame
down.
nuke,
12
12 2-frame queen rear nukes, 6 5-frame nukes, or 3 10-frame deeps.
or
That
one
is
long
awesome.
horizontal hive.
Yeah, then
Or
I guess
two
you can
hives,
do
yeah.
two. You could split it down the center, do 2 long halves or 1 complete long half.
Yeah, you're
It
looking
just
at
costs
12.
you a little bit of money and a puppy dog.
Yeah, man, we'll just do another trade. We'll get you another hive. Just give me that.
Yeah,
dog,
he was going to give it to me free if Renee would have gave him the dog.
yeah.
Oh, I hear you.
Well, the beauty of that system is, oh my God, sorry.
Give me a
Damn
minute, guys.
cigarette.
I'm gonna stop the camera and mic. I'll be back. I'm gonna go get a piece of wood to show Ricky.
All right.
bro.
So the beauty of that system, Ricky, is if someone's wanting to get into beekeeping, they literally could start with that one hive.
Yeah.
And if, especially if you were just going to be just backyard, one of a few colonies in your backyard, you could run that system and do everything you needed to do. You could make a queen. Once the queen comes back, you could move it to a 5 frame. Once it grows up, you move it to, well, you could just put the follower board in and keep sliding it over, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Kim, he's closer to you than he is to me. So she's in upstate South Carolina. So probably most people, when they say that, they're around Greenville or Rock Hill and that area right outside of Charlotte. So not too terribly far. Probably from you, probably an hour and a half, maybe. Let me see. Horizontal hives. You could get with Hives for Heroes or something similar for disabled vet and handicap. Well, he's already working. You're working on a wheelchair accessible one, right?
Yeah, with Justin Ruger, we're working on one that'll actually tilt back 20 degrees for him, and he can kind of slide his wheelchair underneath of it and pick the frames out. So, yeah, we're currently working with some disables, but yeah, Hives for Heroes, man, I'd be glad to work with those people also, and anybody that's handicapped, man, we'll do whatever it takes to get them to get back into beekeeping. I mean, and if it's a vet that's just got PTSD or whatever it is,
PTSD.
Yeah. I mean, for them guys to get into beekeeping and keep their minds going, man, if I could, I'd give every one of them a free hive.
Yeah, you'd go out of business. You'd have every vet. Give me that hive. Next thing you're seeing your hives on eBay. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, we're here to help out any way we can.
That's right.
With people. I mean, the more beekeepers get together, the better it's going to be for all of us.
That's right. That's what we all need to do is work together. And, it's not all about me. It's about, hey, what can I share? Like Earl sharing the peppermint candy or share this ideal.
Right.
We need to work together, not against each other.
Now, how many colonies do you currently run? I know that's just another thing on top of all the other things you got going.
Yeah, well, we got up to 17 last year, and I sold a few of them and got back down to 10, and we lost 2, and I did splits just last week, and we're back up to 12 right now, but we'll probably end up with 15 or 16 this year.
Yeah, I just split out yesterday, so I'm at 23 or 24 right now. Hey, what's your shirt say? What's your shirt say on it? It says something. Read books.
I can't.
Bees don't read books. That's absolutely correct. I learned that so many times every day when you go in the bee yard. Well, this is what should be happening. Nope, that's not what's happening at all.
Right.
I tell you one thing, she ain't scared to get out by the hives, though.
Nah.
Have you been stung before?
Yeah, she got stung. I did some splits last year, and a couple of the hives got really nasty because they just didn't have their queens, and they were out. And whenever she got out and her hair smelled good, they were trying to get her in her hair pretty good. So
yeah, they don't like my shampoo either, and I don't have that much hair. And they always get back here, and you can feel them digging around in the hair, and then you brush them off, and then they're mad that you brushed them off, and they come and sting you on the arm. So that's people ask me when they come to get honey, do you ever get stung? Absolutely. Well, how often? Pretty much once a day. If you averaged it out, like some days you get 2 or 3, and some days you get 1, and some days you get none,
I can't really show the one finger today, but one of them did get stung. But I think I squeezed her up myself on accident.
All right, what we got, Hillbilly? Probably we may not be able to see it with that virtual background.
Let me cut Let me cut that off, and you can see my redneck bedroom.
That's all right. It ain't hurt nothing.
Hey, Kim, Spartanburg's not that far away. Actually, my wife has family down there, and I've made several deliveries down to Spartanburg, South Carolina.
All right.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see it too good. With
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
I like that.
And that's what they make the Gibson guitars out of.
that's just one piece. Let me show you another here.
Oh, yeah.
That's what?
It's like curly maple. It's real hard, and they make guitars with it, just like what you're playing right now, your guitar.
Yeah, that right there is a good piece. It just, when you put a little water on it or you start to stain it, man, it comes alive big time. Here's another pretty piece. I can figure out how this camera's working.
I think we all still trying to figure that out.
Hey, man, it's crazy. You go one way and it goes the other.
Man, I can't believe you get that wood for free, Earl. Man, that's really good, man.
It's beautiful, man. And some pieces, this is my favorite kind of piece that's got a little grain and it's got a little tiger stripe to it.
Right.
And when you wet it down, it stands out so great. It's crazy looking. I mean,
The colors pop.
Yeah. Anytime you put a clear coat or some, like you said, some water on it, man, that grain just pops out of that lumber.
yeah, I thought about spraying it down before I showed it to you, but yeah, it's some pretty stuff, man. Somebody like you could really do something amazing with it, you know?
Yeah, well, I'd hate to have to use it on beehives. I'd want to make something like guitars or something like that with it, you know. So
No doubt.
I want to take some of my hive body boxes or order some extra ones and use those to make shelves on my wall, like little box shelves out of them.
I
Just
made
decorate
some.
my office up a little bit.
I made some of those little mini mating nooks out of it.
yeah.
If I got a picture of them, I'll try to show it to you guys. I don't know if you can see it or not on my phone, but I'll try to find them.
Can you share a screen from his phone on this?
I'm just
That
going to
I'm
show
not
it.
sure. I've never tried it.
I don't know how to do that. I was just going to show the phone right in front of the.
In front of the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say I've never tried that. I may have to try it one day just to know if we can do it.
No doubt.
Well, you share music from your iPad. It wouldn't be too much different.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping, depending on what I drive to Tennessee next year for Hive Life. I don't know if I'm take the truck or the car. Car is a lot cheaper on gas, but
Especially right now.
I'm almost wanting to pick up another Hive. And heck, I've only made 2 splits so far into the horizontal Hive, but I know it ain't gonna be long. I'm gonna have it filled up.
You bring that little dog and we'll make a deal. How's that?
We may have to talk to Renee or Hyde or somewhere. Yeah, I think she'd get rid of me before she would the dog, though.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, you coming to the Hive Life Conference next year? Or
I am planning to. I'm actually been talking with Swarm Commander since they're created right here outside of Columbia.
Oh, I didn't know.
Lakewood Bee Company. So, and he's a disabled vet, and he's going through kidney failure. So he's got to do dialysis and everything. So I'm trying to work something out where I go up there and basically run the Swarm Commander booth for him and help him out. And then I'll get to go with them footing the bill, right? So it works. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll throw that out there to Lee, man. If he wants to come up and help me run my booth, man, I'll pay for his way in. Don't worry about that.
Hey, I thought it was funny. I was on I was in the chat room on Cayman's live. I think it was last Saturday,
that looks good, Earl.
and I made a
It's
mention
hard
on
to
there. I
see.
said I've already got my hotel room reserved for next year, and Cayman's like, man, I don't even have mine yet.
He's all in.
But I found out I called early. I called like a week and a half ago. Since I called so early, I got a 20% discount, and it's right next door to the convention center.
It's awesome.
I was talking about maybe as it gets closer, they got all those rental houses up there in Gatlinburg that sleep like 15, 20 people.
Yeah.
Maybe going in with a few people and renting a house where, usually they got jacuzzis and pool tables and everything.
That was good.
Yeah, man, that's real nice, bro.
It's hard to see with the phone, but don't tell nobody. I made those for Jose's kids. A blue one for Max and a pink one for Kennedy.
Awesome.
And I got them boxed up. I'm going to send them out Monday to him, and he'll be able to show them a little better than what I've been able to. I'd let you see them, but I've already got them boxed up, ready to ship.
That's all right, brother. Terry Chapman did the same thing up there, Guardian Bee Apparel. He rented a cabin up there, and he invited a bunch of people over to his cabin, and there was 4 or 5 of them staying there. And that's really nice. And if you think about it, if everybody chip in some money, it wouldn't be that expensive.
Oh,
Well, last time I went up there, it's been a few years, but I think I paid $800 for a 3-day weekend, but it slept like 15 or 17 people in the place. So if everybody, what does that divide out to? Nothing, $20.
hardly nothing.
Yeah.
Not even. So
Heck, I mean, like I said, I called early and I got a 20% discount on the hotel room. For 3 days, it's still over $500 with a 20% discount.
Wayne's Honeybee said he taught 2 beekeeping classes today, and hopefully 45 new beekeepers. Tomorrow setting up Grafton Hive. Busy bee weekend. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro.
Mine's been
He's
like
in
that.
Best time of the year. We getting busy.
Yeah, as far as bees not reading books, they also don't follow your plans. Yesterday, when I went out to film a video on one thing, putting queens into colonies and making splits, and then I went in to grab my gloves, and I had a colony swarming, so I had to capture the swarm first before I could deal with the queens. So it was just one of those days where everything was all
The
busy.
swarm that reswarmed.
And then it reswarmed when I got to the end of doing it, of making my splits, and I recaught it. This time I used the nuke box with a solid bottom attached to it and a disc on the front. So once they were in there, I just spun them, locked them in. So
That's what I did today. When I finally got that swarm in the box, I spun that disc around and I threw a ratchet strap around it.
that was a nice swarm, man. Real nice swarm.
That was strong.
Yeah, what was that? About 5 pounds of bees, maybe bigger than that.
I was thinking from the distance, I was looking maybe 4 or 5 pounds, but I think it was more than that. It completely filled up the 5-frame nuke and the feeder shim that was in it.
And the walls. It was on both
Yeah.
sides of the walls, all the frames, and about 2-3 inches deep on the inside lid. That was crazy.
I think I might actually get some honey off of that little swarm this year.
Well, you
No doubt.
gave them half a box of drawn out comb already, so
Yeah.
I mean,
And then I threw a 1 gallon bucket of 1-to-1 on them for them to finish drawing out the other 5 frames.
yeah, they're gonna knock that out, man. That's gonna.
They probably brought a lot of stores with them, anyway, when they fly out. So, man, they're ready to roll.
Because originally, whenever I put the box on top of the ladder, I had 3 frames in there. By the time they finally got into the box and I got it down to the truck, when I opened that top up, they was already festooning from frame to frame, getting ready to start drawing.
Yeah, it was a nice looking swarm.
James said it looked like 6 pounds.
That's the. I'm bad at that. I'm like, a lot of bees, not a lot of bees.
I was just kind of taking a guesstimate. I've seen the 3-pound packages on YouTube. I've never seen one in person, so I was just kind of judging. Well, it's more than a package.
Is it 3-pound package and a pound of them are dead in the bottom of the
Yep.
in the package. So that's the.
That was my excitement for the day. I think I'm going to be excited for that for a couple of days, though.
Lee, you'll be driving down the road. You'll be looking everywhere and say, "Oh, that looks like a swarm. We'll stop and check that one out."
The bad part is this time of year, you also see the squirrel nests up in the tree.
That's right.
Mhm.
And I'm like, is that a swarm? No, damn squirrel nest. Bird nest. No luck. No luck
Nope.
for sure. Earl, when you going to start beekeeping, man?
Man, I'm beekeeping all the time. That's a year-round job. I
No,
just
I
don't
mean-
show it.
Yeah, when are we gonna see? When are we gonna get the first Earl in the bee hive experience?
Well, when I know it's not going to get cold anymore and I can merit cutting all that insulation and duct tape off my hives, I'll be glad to get into them. But right now, man, we don't have the flow to support it right now.
What's
And
your
I'm very worried. Well, we've been having I was showing Rich the other night. It's 58 degrees right now, but we've been having some pretty pitiful nights. And
It's 60 right now here.
Yeah, I'm showing 64.
you
And,
pull my weather up here.
Yeah, I think we might get some snow next weekend up here. And
Man,
that's,
hush
That's
your
what
mouth.
I'm
We
afraid
don't even
of.
want to hear that.
Just keep it up north.
Yeah, we up north. Yeah, he's in northern Carolina.
He's 3 hours
Yeah.
below me.
yeah, our elevation's about 4,500 feet above sea level, so we're pretty high up.
We average about 2,000 here.
Yesterday it was our low was like 48 at night, 47, 48. But then it goes back in the 70s during the day. Like tomorrow is supposed to be 75 and Monday 78. So
It was in the 20s here last night.
Wednesday it's going to hit 82. So and then we're back in the 60s, 67. So right at 70 to 80 right now.
I'm hoping we got about 2 weeks and our privet should start popping out and we'll start getting a little flow in.
Are you guys not getting any maples up there blooming out yet? Because we are seeing a few of our maples try to bloom out down here.
Yeah, we've got some maples that's bloomed out and they're already starting to leaf a little bit. But the cold nights killed the red buds, and
Oh,
we've got no red buds whatsoever. They started blooming, then it got cold and it killed them. It killed my magnolia trees right here around the house. It even killed we call them bird bushes. It's actually autumn olives, but it killed the leaves on it. So I'm a little worried. I'm afraid to go digging into hives and getting them brooding up and then have cold temperatures to where they want to stay to the brood and not eat and have too much brood for the amount of bees, because I'm
they're going to
single
brood up
box
whether you
management.
go inside them or not.
Well,
At least if it's a warm day and you go in them, you know what your situation is.
You got a
Yeah,
troll
maybe
on your
it's
channel there, Bob. I'm about to kick
that's
him.
like the third one that I blocked.
I just booted him.
I'm gonna block him. Bam.
I wasn't
See?
monitoring. Sorry, guys. I would have blocked him.
No worries.
I got 3 screens going here, so I'm checking everything.
Well, I spent so much time worrying about my big colonies and making sure they didn't swarm that swarm was actually a nuke.
Mm-hmm.
The one from yesterday, which I have no idea why they swarmed to begin with, because they were only about maybe 2.5 frames of bees in a 5 frame. And they just decided they didn't like it. I don't know. But they got no choice now, because guess what? I put them right back in a 5 frame, and they might swarm right back out. I don't know. Who knows? They're going to do what they're going to do.
But I will tell you this, though. As soon as it warms up and I can get into my hives, I have to, because I have a final exam for Dr. Jamie Ellis's class that I have to take. And in order to do that, I have to video me going through my hives and actually documenting what I see and stuff. So it won't be long. I imagine at least a couple more weeks.
Do you get to put that video on YouTube for us too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the file size will be too big to email them. So I'll put it on YouTube and then send the YouTube link to them, and they'll watch it and grade it. It's pretty cool. Dr. Jamie Ellis's classes down there in Florida, once you pay for it and you start taking it, you can finish it whenever you want. It's not like you have a deadline or anything. I mean,
Right.
Whenever you want to, you can stop, go back and do it again. stop, go back and do it again. So
Self-paced type course. That's nice.
it really is. It's nice.
Hey, I just have to say something. How bad of a troll do you have to be on YouTube to pick a beekeeping live chat to troll? I mean, are you really getting your point across to many people? Craig said, is that the master beekeepers course?
Yeah, actually I'm going for the master craftsman, but you have to go through the different levels until I work my way up. So taking this final exam will be the apprentices, so to speak, part of it. And then the next level will be master beekeeper, and the next level will be master craftsman.
Well, see, once you do that, you can do like David Burns, and you say, "Hey, David Burns, certified master beekeeper."
How
Wouldn't
long
that
does
freak
that
people
full
out?
course? How long does that full course take?
It's up to you.
Okay.
If you can go through your hives and it's summertime, you could probably do it in just a few days to get through one, and then a few days to get to the next level. I'd say if you was a really smart person, probably a month would get you through all of it. But for me, it's going to take me probably 3-4 months, 5,
That'd be
something
me.
like that.
Well, it's
I got
50
common sense, just not the book sense.
I do the
Well-
best I can, man. A lot of those tests I have to take over and over and over until I pass
As
them.
long as you're trying and putting the effort into it, that's what matters.
Yeah, slow and
Yeah.
steady progress, man. That's all you need. So
I
who
would
gives
love to have that title, though.
that course? Where does it? I mean, how do you get that course, or where does it go through?
University of Florida.
Oh, it's through University of Florida.
Yeah. And it's Dr. Jamie Ellis teaching it. Every video you watch, he gives a presentation and then you take a test. He gives another presentation and then you take a test. And you have to provide, a picture of you working bees. So I sent that in.
Just
And
send
for
them
the
your
final-
YouTube channel link.
Yeah.
Here, you can see everything I do. Bam.
It was before I had a YouTube link when I started taking the class.
I
And
got you.
it hasn't gotten warm enough for me to get into it. And believe you me, I want to get through to the next level so bad that I can't wait for it to warm up enough for me to do the final exam and get on to the next class.
Oh, you'll get there.
Yeah.
But we don't even have dogwoods yet. And Bob's had dogwoods for 2-3 weeks now.
Yeah, and all of my bushes that have flowers on them have flowers on them now. Funny thing is, mostly I don't see honeybees on them. I just see carpenter bees on them. Now they'll work the ditches. They're working the wild berries in the ditches, but
Yeah.
they're not working my bushes. And even my
That's like-
kudzu's got starting to get some blooms.
Really?
Yeah, we're getting some on that. But here
Our
I mean,
kudzu hadn't even started to grow yet.
oh no, dude, we got it.
My
We got
number
it
two
outside.
yard. My number 2 yard. The guy has a whole bunch of cultivated and wild blackberries, and they just starting to bud out.
Yeah,
So it
I
only
just got the
belongs
little
on
white
blooms to be
flowers.
open. Yep.
And,
Only thing we've got around here right now is a few of the, handbit and dead nettle species, and the bushes, the golden bell, the forsythia or whatever it's called, those yellow flowers.
Right.
We've got those bushes, but nothing else.
We got some white clover going here. We got a whole lot of I just drew a blank. The little yellow flowers. I pulled up
Dandelion?
the other. Well, we got some dandelion. Oh heck, that's gonna aggravate me.
Bird's
now.
foot, trefoil.
I'm about to pull on one.
goldenrod.
He ain't got goldenrod yet. No way.
Nah, butterweed.
Butterweed.
Yeah.
We got a
Butterweed,
little,
or some of them say bitterweed.
we got a
We're seeing
little,
Johnny jump ups and butterweed and some dandelions and a little bit of maple, but every time it freezes, it kills all that off and it starts all over again.
Yeah.
yeah.
Same
We got
here.
bunch
same
of
here.
flea bane starting to come in too. And then the what you call it? They put in the bouquets and flowers, the baby's breath and
Baby's
wreath.
breath.
Well, supposedly within the next few weeks, we're supposed to start hitting the flow. So, I mean, we're getting a little bit in, but it's not a crazy amount of nectar in. Now, one of my queenless hives, I was telling Lee earlier, the monster hive is what I call it. It actually, I put on 9 drawn combs in a super on top of it. It doesn't even have a queen. Well, it does now after yesterday, but it's caged. But they're packing and drawing that comb back out where I uncapped it all raggedy, and and they're drawing it out and putting nectar in it. So, I mean, they're finding it somewhere. I just don't know where it's coming from right now.
They starting to bring in a little nectar here, and like I said, but the one that I got today, they're fresh, so they don't really know the area. They're going to be orientating probably mainly tomorrow. So I figured overnight I'd throw that 1-to-1 on them, help them out.
Did you take that hive back to your house, Lee? Did you
Yes,
put
sir.
it where you- okay.
Well, where we put the horizontal hive, and then I had that first stand. I put it on the second stand on the other side, and hopefully that one will probably be going to my 4th yard come next weekend.
You got
I gotta go
Ricky's
over there
link.
tomorrow to set up my blocks and my boards.
You got Ricky's link. You can drop in the chat.
Ricky's YouTube.
No, you got a website, right? Horizontal Bees.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just horizontalbees.com.
I don't understand Craig Kirch. Is he talking
We're
about
gonna-
me or Jamie Ellis?
No. When we were talking about how David Burns always says certified master beekeeper on his thing, and he said that's how you can tell somebody's a master beekeeper because they tell you.
They tell you.
Beekeeper.
Yeah, everybody in the chat now, I'm going to drop Ricky's link to his website in here. Y'all click on it and go give him a look.
When I was in
Yeah.
college,
Definitely check out Ricky's website, guys. This dude is awesome.
Mhm.
I tell you what, at least it'll give you guys some good ideas of what maybe you can build. And if anybody needs help building a hive, just let me know, and we'll get you set up. I'd like to see more people in horizontal hives, and just a little easier beekeeping for me, and maybe you'll feel the same way. And we can get you in a hive, regardless whether you just look and see what you like and maybe build one.
I tell you what, with back issues, when you got 1 or 2 colonies, I can go through them and manage. But once you start going through 15, 20, by the time you get to that last one, you're like stretching your back out.
Yeah. Walking around kind of humpback.
And the bad thing is I actually had to lower my hive stands because when I was putting supers on, it was too tall when it was on the stand. So I had to flip all my cinder blocks from standing up to laying down, which only probably dropped them, probably 6 inches or something like that. But now you're bending over an extra 6 inches to get to them.
I just read that comment about coffee time. I thought that was funny.
How y'all like coffee time?
David Burns, he does
I
this
got
section at the end of his videos called Coffee Time, where he doesn't talk about bees. He teaches you about life.
I saw this
watched
video
a couple
today.
of his videos, but normally when he gets towards the end and he's talking about, all right, this and this and this, and then I just kind of go ahead and go off on it.
He did a
Yeah,
30-minute video today. I think, at least I watched it this morning, that it was about new gadgets and stuff that, you buy stuff and basically waste your money on it, because he says if you really want to know if it's going to stay, wait 5 years before you buy it. Hell, I may not even be alive in 5 years. You know what I mean? If it's going to stop hive beetles, I'll buy that shit tomorrow. I mean, excuse my French, I'll buy it tomorrow.
Thinking about gadgets, Boone left a comment on my video earlier. It said, go gadget pole bucket.
Hey, nothing like a pole
Storm
bucket.
catcher.
It worked.
Those things
I
are
bought
awesome.
me one of those battery powered chainsaws that you can extend out to like 15
That's
foot.
Lee sent me a picture of the truck with the ladder and sitting up there with the nuke box on top of it. And I said, "Did you bring your pot and pan?" He's like, "No, I had metal, but I put it in the car, and then I forgot it and ended up taking the truck." I said, "Did you bring your shotgun? Shoot the limb off?"
Yeah, when I got here to the house, I ran from the farmer's market home, was going to grab stuff. I started throwing stuff in the car. I said, no, I need to bring my ladder. I'm going to bring the truck. So I tossed everything in the truck and forgot my piece of metal that I was going to try to tang it with. So
Well, my
I still don't know
grandfather
if
was a
tanging
big
works.
believer in it.
Have you ever tried a waste basket, Lee? That's the kind of mesh waste basket.
No.
Yeah, Carter Hill, he does that, and I tried that, and it really, when you shake those bees, they really stay inside that mesh and don't fly out like they do in a bucket. So
I might
you
have to
get a
give
chance
that a
to
try
use a
then.
waste basket, try
Like
it.
one of those little mesh clothes hamper deals.
Yeah, something
Depending on the
similar to
size
that.
of the swarm, you could actually just take a piece of old brood comb and strap it to that pole and lay it up there, and they'll walk right on that comb, and you just bring it down and knock it in the bucket.
Yeah, Mike left his comment earlier talking about lightning. Earlier that morning, we did get a little rain this morning here during the market, but luckily it wasn't no lightning in it.
But it's amazing how we can do lives every night, and every night we get people showing up for beachheads. I even saw the stream team they're changing their format a little bit this week to be more just hanging out, talking about bees. So, hey, we help beekeepers. Maybe.
I don't know if we're
they're
doing
awesome.
everything right or they're just coming in wanting to laugh at me. But hey, either way, as long as they're here, we're all having fun.
Yeah, there you go, man.
Well,
No, they're
most
not
of the
coming to
time,
laugh at us. I will stand up for Greg, Brian, and Bruce. Those are three upstanding, God-fearing, good men. Good men.
I like them. I
love
watch every
them.
single one of their videos and their lives.
I do
I like
too.
They,
you
they
guys
are
doing the,
genuinely
live.
out to help people.
Because I'm down there working in my building most afternoons, and I just set y'all up and watch y'all and listen to you. It's better than watching some TV show or something like that, and you can get information that's going to help you with your bees.
Exactly. I don't even hardly watch TV anymore. I'll turn the TV on to fall asleep to just to have that noise. But other than that, I don't watch it.
Y'all would laugh if you knew what I was watching on TV a little while ago, and I had to laugh at it because they actually had it PG-13. So
The bees are.
no, dude, on Amazon Video, they've got Little House on the Prairie, like the whole series.
Yep.
So I started watching it, but they've got it as PG-13 because he smokes a pipe in a lot of those. I'm like, the whole thing is pretty much around religion. I mean, they're
What's more wholesome than Little House on the Prairie, man?
That's what I said. I was laughing because I'm like, wait, this is PG-13? This was on like regular TV back in the day.
Pretty much every night, just to fall asleep, I put on Lonesome Dove.
That's
Because
the
if I put
greatest
something
movie.
on I've never seen, I might actually want to watch it, and I ain't interested. I'll put Lonesome Dove on, watch a few minutes, and I'm out.
I watch a lot of
1883, man. 1883
I
is.
do want to see that, but I hadn't seen it yet.
I watch
Oh, I
a lot
love
of
it.
like cold case files and forensic files and stuff like that.
Renee watches Cold Case Files. They love them.
Because that's where I was getting my master's degree in with forensic science. I had the the course about ballistics where you match up the striations on the bullets and all that.
Yep.
And so I'm genuinely interested in that. But my wife's like, I'm not going to sleep and dreaming about murders and people getting killed and raped and everything else. I'm like, you're totally missing the point behind the show. That's terrible. That's what the show is about. But this is about the science on how they capture the people that did it, right? So
yep.
Craig
Chad, on
Rich,
your
you're
comment
exactly
there.
right.
Chad, I do have a 24-foot painter's extension pole, but when I ran to the house, I can't find it. I don't know what I've done with it. So I'm going to go to Home Depot. Probably. I'm going to go to Home Depot in the morning and buy me another one. Even if I do find the other one, I'll have two. I'll keep one in the vehicle at all times.
You'll probably need a third when it's all said and done.
Yeah, probably so. I've got 4 hive tools right now because I keep forgetting.
I'm going to tell you what, that Swarm Commander yesterday, I mean, I was a believer in it already, but the fact that they were just in flight, flying everywhere, and hadn't landed anywhere, and I sprayed it on the bucket and set the bucket down, and the swarm went right to the bucket. In the video, I was like, just broke their flight pattern, and they said, "This is where we're landing," and came down.
That's great.
And that's twice I've seen it happen. I mean, hey, Karen, nice to have you on here.
I've watched several of her videos. I like them.
See, that's another thing. I try to go and sub to everybody's channels as I go, and sometimes I don't get them on the first time. So you need to
If
come
they
back.
subscribe to mine, I sub to theirs.
Yeah, I sub. There's one. What's the kid's name? He's Let me see if I can search it. He's
That little
That
boy?
was Hive Life.
no, it's something the junior beekeeper.
Yeah, he is awesome. What is his name?
Curtis, the junior beekeeper.
That's it. Yes, he's awesome.
Y'all need to give. He's got 167 subs.
He reminds me
He's
of
got-
one of my boys, and I about cry watching him.
He's
Is that
got-
with a C or a K?
with a C?
See,
It's Curtis, the junior beekeeper. He's got
he
12
will make
videos.
you cry, dude.
But I think his
You-
daddy is a truck driver, and they keep bees. And
That
his
little
dad
boy
was out on
touches
the
my
road, and
heart
one of their
so
commies formed, and he went out there with his little bee suit on. I don't even think he's 10. He
Yeah.
might be 11. He went out there with a bee brush and a nuke, and he was brushing bees into the box, looking for the queen. Captured the swarm by himself. So
I just subbed to him. I'm gonna have to give him a
And his intro, man, where he's like, "I'm Curtis, the junior beekeeper." It'll
Yeah.
touch your heart, dude. And if it don't touch your heart, something's wrong with you.
I actually sent him I commented on one of his videos and said, "We'd love to have you on our live stream on Tuesday night." And I said, "Your daddy can come too." You know, say, I don't want nobody to think we're like some freak, some random guy who just wants us to go on a chat. Bring daddy, mama, I don't care. We just want to talk to you because we appreciate you.
He reminds me so much of my boy Elijah when he was that age. It just about tears me up to see him, man. It really touches me.
I need to get more younger people into beekeeping.
You're right, buddy.
He does such a
And he
good
gives
job
little
too.
lessons, too. He gives little lessons. Like one of his videos is I gave a talk about bee stings. I gave a talk on propolis, trying to prevent a swarm. Our bee museum. He did honey extracting. What else did he do? Checking on my hive for the first time this season. That was 2 weeks ago. But yeah, he's got a nice little channel.
I love it. I love it too, Bob.
I caught a swarm all by myself. I caught
Yep.
another swarm. So, and you can see he's out there with his suit on, brushing the bees, and his mama's at the doorway with her camera, filming. And then you can see she's putting up like comments on the screen, right? Like, my mom can't hold the camera still, and my mom can't do this. So I thought it was pretty neat little video. So
He's
check that
great,
channel out.
man. Yeah, everybody check out Curtis the Junior Beekeeper. You will not regret it. It is awesome.
He's got 2 extra subs tonight.
Yep, I was one of them. And
So,
also, while we're here, I'm going to drop Ricky's link to his YouTube channel in the comments. Y'all click on that.
Definitely
and go
check
him
out Horizontal Bees.
they must have a bee supply store or something because he's got a observation hive too.
Yeah, and he goes through that little thing in his house where they've got all that beekeeping. I don't want to call it paraphernalia. It's more like memorabilia, so to speak, different types of things. I like that video too.
I've got a question. This is going to be an ignorant question because,
You know there ain't no such thing.
well, when you run a YouTube channel and you're doing a live stream on beekeeping and you ask a question, when you see a video, and they've got a hive built into the wall that's glass on one side, like in a showroom observation hive, right? How do you actually manage that colony? I mean, do you get it? You have to get it from the outside because you can't open the bees on the inside. So is there a door on the outside of the building that they can get to? I don't know how
I've
that
never
works.
had one.
That I'm not exactly sure. I've seen one where it opened up on the inside, but I mean, I would think if you opened up, they'd be flying all up in your room.
Oh my Lord, Ricky, an observation horizontal. A
Well,
horizontal observation hive.
Earl, I've been thinking about doing one of those when we remodel our living room and putting horizontal through the wall and the flow hive inside the house, where you just pop the frames and the honey come out when you had people over and they can see the bees. It would be very, very nice. But
That would
the
be
wife has not given me
That
the
would be
okay
great.
yet.
I'm sure
That
she
would be
will.
awesome. And hello to Cajun Homestead and Beekeeping, my brother from another mother. I love his
great.
videos.
We keep trying to get him on.
Yeah,
You need to come on here, dude.
He's a couple hours away from me. He's here in Louisiana.
Yeah, click that link, brother. Get on here with us.
He
I'm
keeps
gonna drop-
denying us the privilege.
I'm going to drop that link in the chat. Anybody want to click on it?
Guys, I'm going to drop out. My wife's come in, but I'll catch you guys in the
Come
chat.
on, too.
All right, Ricky. We appreciate you coming on and talking. And y'all have a good night and tell the family I said hi.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you, Lee.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
you,
your
Ricky.
family. We said hello.
We'll do it.
Tell everybody I love them and God bless.
Yep, we'll do that, Earl, and we'll give up with you when we head out your way.
Please do, man, and I will get you a truckload of wood, I promise.
Well, I'm definitely coming your way.
Free.
That free 99 wood. the best kind.
$3.99.
$3.99.
Free. If I have to give you my wood, I'll get it to you.
Let me see. Did you drop the
Smash
link?
that like button.
Smash that like button.
Is that Charlie? Is that Sawmill Charlie you done that with?
What's that?
Let's smash that like button.
Oh, I got it on the soundboard here.
I thought you recorded him and played it back or something. I didn't know.
It's on my tablet. Run through my.
Surprised he didn't pop in today.
That's what I
It's
was
still
thinking, man.
He might be taking the night off. You know, we only been going an hour and a half. He doesn't usually show up till we've been on for 2-3 hours already.
I was about to say I might be able to make it to 9:30 tonight. I got company in the living room right now, actually.
Yeah, we won't go long tonight.
And 9:30 to you is 10:30 to me.
True. Oh, hour ahead.
Yeah, it's me and you are on the same time, Earl.
I just love hanging out with you guys, man. Just feel like we're
that
all
right there.
friends, you know.
Yeah, that it's true. We have bonded. I mean, I talked to yesterday. I talked to you on the phone. I talked to Lee. I talked to Rich. I actually tried to call Houston. I haven't seen him in here in a minute.
How can he say he has an ugly face? Has he seen me? I got
I'm
like
about
2
to say-
teeth.
I'm surprised my face ain't blurred out right now.
I got
I'll
the
tell
face
you,
on
man.
radio.
You can tell I'm the one that invented the toothbrush. If anybody else had invented it, they'd have called it a teeth brush.
Yeah, Ricky, anytime you get a chance, come on back and visit us.
All the time,
Please.
man. Well, see, we talked about this last night. That's what we like about this format is that anybody can come in. We don't care your level of experience. If you don't have bees, if you have bees,
If you want bees,
if you want bees, it doesn't matter, right? So the whole thing is that we're just trying to have a good time, share knowledge if you get knowledge from it, you know. And if you've got knowledge to spread, we would love to have you. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. That's what I say about my videos. You might pick something up and learn something, but you might learn something what not to do also.
I learned how
Yeah.
to,
If I
say
mess
too.
up, I'm going to show you. That way, maybe you won't make the same mistake I do.
I need to up my swarm game.
if we all pitch in,
Hey, you caught 2 swarms yesterday. You're ahead of me.
It's the same swarm.
way
though.
ahead of me. Way ahead of me.
Yeah,
Well-
what was that? William last night said you padding your numbers.
Yeah. Two for one swarm special.
What was
That's
so weird about that is I was on the phone with him, and we was just talking like, how many swarms have you got? And he's like, none. How many you got? And I'm like, none. He's like, hang on, I'm pulling in my driveway, and then a video pops up. I caught a swarm. I'm like,
Look, we spoke him into existence
The
tonight.
devil.
too. Man, oh, hold on. We both clicked you at the same time, I think.
there he is. It's
Yeah.
about time.
Hey, Earl.
You was
We were just
sandbagging,
talking
wasn't
about
you?
What's that?
He was sandbagging. He was watching without talking.
No, not really. I just got in.
Yeah, we were just talking about you. He said, man, where's Charlie? We ain't seen Charlie. I said, well, maybe he's taking the night off. I said, but then again, we've only been going an hour and a half. He usually doesn't come till we've been on here for like 2.5 hours already. And then we go another 2-3 hours after that.
He lets us finally get to the point where we're starting to run out of things, and he comes in and livens the conversation back up.
He actually brings beekeeping to the beekeeping chat, y'all.
Isn't it
Well,
beautiful how that works?
I had to watch Lee's video first before I got on. That's a fine looking swarm you caught there.
Man,
think
I ain't
it
got
was a
to watch
pretty
it
good one.
yet.
I mean,
And
that's,
the bad thing was, it wasn't 75 foot.
Earl, he had, there was what, 1.5 to 2 inches of bees just on the lid, solid.
Yeah. It was
Looked
like
cool.
a-
Plus what's in the box.
The
Oh,
bad
I'm
thing
going to
was,
watch it.
I'm the beekeeper, and I'm sitting at the farmer's market, and the swarm's probably 50 to 75 foot at the most from my booth, and I never even seen them.
I had him distracted though. He's talking to me on the phone when he's like, hold up, there's a swarm here at the yard. Let me go check this out. I said, all right, go do your thing. I'll talk to you later. I said, but if you don't put it on film, it didn't happen.
Yeah,
That's right. It ain't real if you didn't film it.
that's it. So when I got home to get my tools, I definitely had to come in and grab my GoPro, but I did forget to bring my audio recorder. So the first part of the video is just a GoPro audio.
Well,
Hey,
what's
Charlie.
in your bee bucket, Lee?
Look what came in today, Charlie.
I had everything in there today.
Honey?
Everything but my extension pole.
The bottles.
Oh, the bottles?
Yep, the bottles and lids showed up today.
Well, did you find out about shipping was different or anything or what?
It was $93 for me, and I ordered them. What did I order? Thursday is when.
Was just ground shipping or whatever?
Mm-hmm. So, but
You
still,
know-
yeah. I mean, for
How many-
321 bottles for $97, it's like 30 cents a bottle. I mean, shipping, you're gonna have to pay that anywhere, but using the ladder in the truck bed was mighty impressive too. I know it was OSHA approved.
Well, the lady that manages the place, she's the one that pays the lease on the property. She does like the liability insurance and all that for us. And she said, something about, I'm about to have to go ahead and go. Are you going to be okay? I said, yeah. And I looked at the ladder, looked at the ground. I said, look, I'm going to just take my phone out of my pocket and lay it on the ground right here. That way, when the ladder falls out of the truck, I lay in next to my phone. I can just reach and grab it.
So you should have said, where do I send the bill for this bee removal? It said, but I'll take it out and trade for my fees on my table.
There you go. That'd been a good one.
Do a swap out, right? So
Well, so you just got what, one case of ones? One
yeah, I got
pound?
the case of the ones and I got the 1,700 caps. So next time I go in, I'm probably going to order 2 more cases of bottles.
You're gonna
And
get 2 pounders.
I didn't get any 2-pounders because I did have some mason jars
Mm-hmm.
for like 1.5 pound size, but I haven't bought any 2-pounders yet.
Yeah, I went up to a guy who was selling out a lot of stuff today, and in the morning, he had some bottles just like that, but they're 1.5 pounds, and I think they were 45 bottles for $25 or something like that. I don't know what it was now, but I said I don't want, I got 1, 2, and 3. I don't want no oddball size.
Well, that allows you not to have to make change, right?
Uh-huh.
That's one thing. Someone will have a 10 or 2 5s or a 20, you got them covered. I did start using a couple of these little jars that I bought. This is a $5 jar. So I got a 5, a 10, and a 15.
Well, how many ounces is that?
This on the box, it says it is an 8-ounce jar. But
Not fluid ounces, weight ounces.
yeah, so I think this is I weighed it. It was like 10 ounces of honey. So it's a little bit more than, I mean, I didn't do the math on it, but it's a little bit more than $5. But when you start doing like $12.50, then you got to have change to give somebody $2.50 back, or something like that. So I was like, yeah, 5. And I only got a couple. I mean, I've got a bunch of these jars, but I only have a couple of these actually bottled.
Right.
So my thought is, somebody's got a 20 and they want one of these. Oh, well, I can give you one of those and one of those. That's $20.
I got you.
And
But technically, you're $6 away from 20 bucks.
so just trying to keep the math simple, because unless I've, like, the last honey money I had, I took and put that in the bank. So I don't keep change here, to break people's bills and stuff up. So
Generally, whenever I work 4/10s at work, I'll go on Fridays and I get all my change that I need the next day for the farmers market. But I
That's
do
cool.
everything on a quarter basis, either $9, $1.50. I don't have like $9.25 or $9.29.
right.
Yeah.
But
Has anybody heard from Houston?
I haven't heard from him in a few days. I tried to call him. I got his voicemail.
Yeah.
So hope he's all right.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bring him up. I hadn't heard from him either, man. But
I haven't heard from
Oh,
Spanky
yeah.
either, since he
I
got
haven't
mad
either.
for sitting in the room and waiting and not getting in.
I know Houston commented on one of my channel or videos 2 days ago.
Well, Spanky has to understand there's two different channels going on, and it's hard for both of you guys to.
Well, he
Yeah.
came in and he was in the bottom, but we were doing this and we were on a topic and we were talking and it was going. So I didn't want to stop what we were talking about in the middle to add somebody in and then have to say, hey, how's it going? And all that stuff. So
Yeah.
Hey,
I was-
there's Rich.
Yeah, Rich said Houston's working. He said he's good.
oh, okay, good.
Cool.
I know he
Cool.
does construction work.
No, I mean, as far as Lee, what do you mean you don't say, like, a pound of honey is $10 or what?
I do $9 on mine here. Everybody keeps telling me to go to 10, and I'm thinking about it, but I mean, really, I'm
around
still
here.
making money on 9 here.
Yeah, but I do 10,
15.
but I've been thinking about 12, but then you got to have change, which is a pain. Everything's even money when,
Right.
I'm thinking 15.
well, about an hour or two north of me where the rich people live, they'll pay that kind of money.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're saying $15 for a pound jar like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
they'll pay
think it's
that
crazy
every
if you
year?
don't.
Dang.
What choice do they have? You're selling raw local honey. They can buy it for $10 a pound at the store, which is, what is that, garbage from China and
Well, they'll buy it for about $3.
Amsterdam?
Yeah.
So for good local raw honey, it's worth every bit of $15. It really is.
Some places it could be.
Kind of
No doubt.
depends where you live, what kind of money people make.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
I've seen them. They'll take little bottles. I mean, looks real fancy. They might sell that little thing for $20 some places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the
Oh,
damn jars
I wanted
are
to tell you guys something. I wanted to bring this up. I meant to last night and I forgot. When you're dealing in jars, all you have to do is print you off a card with all your stuff on it and fold it, punch cut it, put you a little piece of yarn around your mason jar and tie it on so that you're not actually having to stick a label to your jar. And also your YouTube channel, you can get one of those little square
QR codes.
QR codes so that when you sell your honey, they open it up, boom, right to your show, right to your YouTube channel. And
Well, I use my tablet at the farmer's market, and all my credit card processing goes wirelessly from my credit card reader to my tablet, and then wireless to my receipt printer.
No, you got to put them.
But like if they doing Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, anything like that, I could pull the QR code up on my screen on my tablet, and they just scan that.
I'll be back in a minute.
All right.
All right, sorry.
okay. But it would be cool if you just, if you're just dealing with jars, just to strap that little yarn around it, hang your little tag off of it, let them open it up, read what they want to, and take a picture of it, send them to your YouTube channel.
You see Cajun's comment? Not where I live. They want to trade chickens for honey.
Hey, now, Brad,
That's
on that comment there, in 2020, whenever I got my first swarm from a guy up the road, he was going to deliver them to me. And he said something. I said, yeah. I said, I'm just going to put them behind the chicken pen. He said, you got chickens? I said, yeah. He said, you trade me 2 chickens, I'll knock $25 off the price.
You're trying to get rid of them, right?
That's because Cajuns and hillbillies are just alike, man. The barter system still exists.
You
So,
don't find it too often anymore, but it does still work.
Check this out. Hey guys, made 5 pounds of pollen patties today and put half teaspoon of peppermint oil. Had to really watch last year because I've had several hive beetle larvae in patty last more than 5 days or so. Yeah, so that's you'll notice they'll be able. You may still get them the first time you put it in there. I've got a video out on that. However, they're able to consume much more of the patty before the beetles got in it. And then the second time I went in there, after I removed that little bit of patty that was left that had peppermint in it, I found no beetles in the colony. So,
That's right.
And it would also depend on the strength of your colony. If you put in a full patty, half patty, quarter patty.
Well, I'll tell you what I can do. I can take a whole patty. I can crush up 2 pieces of that candy, sprinkle it over the top, mash it in, flip it over, sprinkle it over the bottom, mash it in, and put it in any hive for as long as I want to. I can put it in my bait hives and never have a beetle touch it.
Anybody know what would keep wax moths away?
Sertan.
bug zappers.
That's all.
Yeah, bugs happen.
I saw Barnyard Bees. He does that on each end of his apiary. He's got a pole with a bug zapper on it.
Yeah. They come on it after dark because the bees ain't flying then, but the moth will. I do
I
remember that.
I built bat boxes and hung them out, and on each bat box I wrote Wax Moth Warrior, but I don't have any bats yet.
No bats.
I've been wanting to get a bat box hang on the back of my barn.
Yeah,
Yes,
I've made them, but I just haven't had any luck yet getting them to move into it.
Yeah. We used to have quite a few bats around here, but I really ain't seen any in the past several years. But I hadn't seen crows here either in probably 4 or 5 years at least. I ain't seen one crow. And
Right.
about a week ago, I had 4 of them fly over the house.
You know,
we
I
had
haven't
crows,
seen any
turkey
either.
vultures.
What's that?
I've
Bob?
seen the turkey vultures.
Yeah, we
But
got
like
turkey,
Lee, I haven't seen the crows.
crows,
Hmm.
hawks. I
I've
can always tell
seen
when there's a
one
hawk
hawk
circling
every
over because my ducks will stop and they all turn their head to the side like that and they're looking up, and then they get real loud and all run for cover.
I
I used to
one
love
hawk
running out.
around here every now and then.
I used to love running out in my mom's chicken yard and whistle like a hawk and watch them just take off getting it to the inside.
All right, so
I
here's a
always thought it
question
was funny.
for Charlie. So
Yeah.
I made all these splits yesterday with all these beautiful queens.
Were they good looking?
Yeah, they look good. And I did not have a single colony that didn't look like they were accepting them. They went right on top of them. Matter of fact, a couple of the nukes, I didn't realize when the second swarm started happening, I just had the JZ BZ cup laying inside the feeder shim, laying down on top of the brood frames on the very top. And they were clustered on her this morning, keeping her warm.
So
Yeah.
they all accepted her as far as loving her and stuff like that.
Yeah. They seem to, and they're eating the candy out of there, so they look like they're gonna do the thing within a day or so.
Yeah, my friend Lloyd, he called me. Well, I went up to that sale and the guy had a what do you call it, a queen muff there for $5. You know, normal brand new was
What?
20. A queen muff
Yeah,
You know,
$5.
for $5. I bought that real quick.
Yeah,
I
you
went
did.
to I went to down to Cutix yesterday, right? And they gave me the full tour of their where they do their grafting, and they got their refrigerator incubator set up.
Yeah.
And man, I'm in the wrong
What
business.
did he say? Cutix? Is that what he said?
Yeah, Cutix.
Let me write that down here.
TIK.
Cutix Canine Queens. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, that's them. He showed me.
I just my friend Lloyd called me up today. I help him, get bees and stuff. So he asked me, he said, how, I ordered 10 of them today, this afternoon. So they're going to come in around the 12th, I think, of this month.
Are you aware of the video they showed Bob, Charlie?
What's that?
What's his name? Octavio?
Octavia?
Yeah, he showed me videos on his phone of these bees from these queens. They had an open drone brood that had a mite on it, and they dissected that mite. They ripped it off of that drone and ripped that mite to shreds. I said, "Are they eating it?" He said, "I don't know if they're eating it, but they're tearing it apart and killing it."
Now tell him about the beetle.
Then he said, "Watch this." He showed me a hive beetle. It literally picked it up and flew it off. He's like, it's hard to watch them fly because they're so fast, but you see the beetle's there and she's on top of it, and then she's gone and the beetle's gone. She took it and flew off with it into the sunset.
Yeah,
So-
I know Lloyd talked about, now this is quite a few years ago, that Chuck, who owns that place, he bought, the way I understand it, they bought a set of breeder queens. I don't know whether there's like 10 of them in a set or what, but you buy a complete set. And, that's why, they have really neat looking, really good looking queens.
I was impressed. I wish I would have took my GoPro and did a video, but I was pretty much, they said they had them and I was in the truck and out the door. And once he shared inside information to me about how much they charge for nukes. And I'm like, I'm in the wrong business. I need to go ahead and get me a list together. No.
You need to get him to send you those videos on your phone, man.
That's what you pay retail for nukes. That's not what they charge people that are selling the nukes.
I'm saying you need to get him to send you those videos on your phone.
But they're on their
And
Instagram.
really,
They're
this
on their
ain't something we need to talk about on air.
They're on their Instagram.
I did see on, what is it, Better Be, where they talked about that canine.
Yeah, they supply all the nukes for Man Lake, Better Bee, and Dayton. So if you go to those sites and you're buying bees from them, you're actually buying their bees. And he told me they sold 11,000 nucleus colonies last year.
Now I want you to go, Nature's Emmons Farm, when he went up there to get his Pro Suite,
Mhm.
Craig did. Watch that video real careful. They go out to the nuke yard behind the building and read what's on the side of those boxes.
Kudik.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kudik is about an hour or two north of that. And my friend Lloyd gets those nukes from him also to sell here where I live. And they're in the wooden boxes. And then he actually, Lloyd's going up there, I think this week, with a truckload, a couple skid load fulls of them.
He's going up to New York to pick them up.
No, what he'll do is he'll take from where I live, and he'll take them up to Man Lake, drop them off up there at like a depot or a drop-off station, and then Kudik will stop by and pick them up and take them on up to New York.
Hmm.
And,
Well, they told me if I ordered 280, if I could get a load of 280, they'll actually deliver them to me. I wouldn't have to go pick them up.
Queens or Nukes?
Nukes.
All right, Cajun. I want to know why you're not coming on. Tell us why.
And when you get those, I mean, what they are able to get the Nukes for are cheaper than what most people get packages for. So,
Okay, guys, it's 9:35. I'm gonna have to get on out of
Yeah.
here. I hope y'all
Me
have
too,
fun
man.
the rest of the night.
All right, Lee.
It's
Good to see you.
10:35 here.
we'll hang out a little
I
bit
am
more.
gonna drop that link in the chat here. That way, if anybody else wants to come on in, just click that link and come talk with everybody.
Yeah,
And
we'll
even
hang
if
out.
Bob's old lady laughs at me, I love you guys. God bless. And God bless your bees.
You too, man. Everybody have a good night. I'll catch y'all.
All right.
later.
Y'all
Good
too,
seeing you, Lee.
man. See you guys. I'll still be listening if you're on.
Yeah, but we'll hang out for a few more minutes since Charlie just got here. And I'm going to pick his ear, pull on his ear about feeding these splits.
All right, man. Love you guys. God bless. God bless your bees.
You're getting famous, Earl.
Well, so I made these splits, and I've got a problem, bit of a problem.
Yeah.
It's not a problem with the splits. It's, well, kind of could be a problem. I don't have any sugar bricks left, right? Because it's warm and we typically don't keep them.
Mhm.
I do have frame feeders, but the problem that I'm having, like today, that swarm, I'm like, well, they don't have any resources. I'm going to put a Ceracell feeder, top high feeder on them that I had for a nuke. Man, I put that thing on there, and
You got robbing out the ass.
yeah. So I'm having a problem. If I put anything on those nukes, they're going to get raided hard. So
You
It's
need
like-
to put get some. Have you got a place you can get some fondant?
no,
All right, go to Walmart
just
and
Make-
go to the party area. They got little small boxes of fondant.
oh, in the party section.
Yeah, and the cake making session or something like that.
Just
I don't know. It's not in a section where you would think. It's like where you go in there to get like the party ribbons and all the hoo-has, you know. It seems to be in that area where that fondant is.
Is it in a tub or is it in a box?
No, it's in like a Betty Crocker cake mix box or something like that.
They just cut off small pieces and
Yeah,
stuff.
we'll take it's pliable. Get this. Don't get just get white. Don't get anything else but that. And then what I do is just take a knife and cut a piece about 3/8 of an inch thick, or like a steak,
Right.
Just slice it off in little slivers, and then go in there and lay it in on top of that frames, and they'll eat it up. And you're right, because that's what, like on these nuke boxes behind me here, I had that same problem. Now the thing what I did is I have some of that Pro Sweet where they can't smell it. But then that stuff's expensive. I happen to get a deal on it, and I happen to get several 100 gallons of it too in a tote. And it's okay. It's real thick. It's like trying to deal with honey. Well, you know how honey is. You got to warm it to really make it pour good.
Right.
And I think the fondant would be better, but you're getting a robin issue. Main thing with them nukes, how big's your opening? Is it the full width of the box?
No, most of them have entrance reducer on them, or they have an empty Boardman feeder in them. So it's like reduced down that way.
Yeah, right. I mean, you got maybe a half-inch hole or something like that. There's all you really need for something like that, so they can guard it.
Right.
But I would go to Walmart, get some fondant, and look. You might have to ask somebody to find out where it's at. They put that kind of stuff in stupid places. And sugar bricks, well, then just make yourself up some. All you got to do is get a 10-pound bag of sugar.
Yeah, I know how to make them, but it's the time it takes them to dry out. I don't know if that's longer than.
Well, don't worry about it. Don't make it dry. It don't have to be hard.
Just give them, or I guess I could put a paper towel or just give them.
Yeah, mix it up and then put a piece of newspaper in there, a little bit of newspaper, and take a scoop and just kind of dump it on there. That's what I did. It'll harden up inside, or they'll eat it down, one of the two.
Right.
I don't know. Do you put any apple cider vinegar in there?
I usually do, yeah.
Yeah, put a tablespoon or two in there and mix it up with and just kind of dump it in there.
Trying to make sure they got something to.
Yeah, you want to feed them. I would go to Walmart and get yourself some fondant. Get yourself white fondant. Don't get any colored stuff or anything like that. That'll get you by. You don't need. I went out.
It only really needs to be a week or two at the most, and we should be in a heavier flow, and then the robin should go away.
Well, just get a little box of fondant and that kind of stuff.
Let's see if they got it.
Good night, Karen.
Give them some nanners.
Bananas. Possibly.
Rolled fondant. Let me see if I pick up. Oh, why is it? This is weird. It's telling it San Antonio, Texas. I can get it. Let me see if they got it here at my local one. Save that. And see, I'd have to do it for pickup. Pickup. We'll bring it curbside. That way I know that they have it in stock. $4.98. Oh no, 5 pounds for $16.50.
Yeah, it's a little high, but you got to do what whatever.
Or they got a 10-pound tub for $30.
Yeah, and I can buy a 50-pound for 30.
So I'll check that out to see if they actually. Why doesn't it have? Let me see. Maybe I can pick up.
I'd put some fondant in there because that's what I think I'm going to do this year. Is I got some fondant here, and it's sticky, but you can put it. I can put them on top of them 2 framers in there, and I don't have to worry about it.
Might do that because I mixed up my last 5 gallons today of my last 25-pound bag of sugar. So that was kind of the thing. Now the big colonies, like I put a quart on that Demeray, and they don't mess with that one.
Yeah.
But a little colony, and I put a pint in one side of the Saracel feeder, and man, they were all over trying to get in that thing. It might, when I go out there tomorrow and pop the lid off in the morning, they'd probably have a pound of dead bees in there drowned.
Yeah, I was. I got into my honey hives today and took off the candy board. I got into 6 out of 10 of them, and got them situated to where they're down into 2 medium boxes and honey super on them, all that stuff, and then the night before it was windy up here and cold and raw, and I got out there after work. What happened was I went out there, I guess it was any idea what the temperature is like on Kudik bees?
Temperament.
Well,
they were pretty gentle when I was out there. They had bees everywhere, and I didn't get stung not one time.
They're calm. They're real calm. I think aren't they a little bit of carny in them?
Yep.
Carny
so.
on them.
But-
They're a kind of a dark. They can either be absolutely blackish, or they're kind of a black with a little bit of brown tan and mixed in them.
But
But no, I find them to be quite calm. I mean, and bees are bees. I mean, and all, but I mean, they're not aggressive. But I went out there, I guess it was today's Saturday, it was Friday evening. And well, Friday during the daytime, and I was up there close to the barn. So I just walked along because they were flying. And I was looking at the entrance and, checking pollen coming in, stuff like that. They were bringing it in. All of a sudden, I seen this nuke there, and here the whole entrance is, I got the entrance reducer removed, and it's full of bees, dead. I'm like, what's going on here? So I take my stick and I'm raking out probably a quart of bees at least. And so I got it. I opened them up even without a veil. And there was a small cluster on a couple frames, still alive and everything. So I happened to have some candy there that I had breaking out one of them candy boards that dropped out of it. So I put that right on top of them. Of course, they jumped right on there. So obviously, they were starving to death or getting ready to crash. Well, they've already crashed to a certain extent. So I went through them that evening there, and either put I didn't have any fondant left, but I put had enough of sugar bricks and things like that to put on there. And then I found 4 hives that were just overflowing with bees, so I added another 5-frame box on top. And I happened to have one there that had a sugar shim that I made up, and I don't know. They just dwindled. They just
right.
they were just a little cluster of bees and their heads in the comb, and I mean they had 10 pounds of sugar on top of them, and that covered the whole entire 5-frame nuke.
Right.
And they just fizzled out. And then I needed a 5-frame deep box, and one of the frames had honey on it and everything and all that stuff. So I said, well, I just picked that up and put it on this other hive that was overflowing with bees. And then I used that sugar shim that was hardly touched. I had one hive there. They just went through that thing, ate every lick of it. And I said, well, I just smoked them down. I said, all right, I'll give you another one. So everybody's got feed in my nukes. And it was kind of odd where, you've been feeding them since February. And I, fed them sugar water quite a bit, and
Right.
I usually feed them to where they won't take it anymore, and I quit. And just amazing how they just, sucking through the food right now. And
Yeah, with the temperatures here, it's I would think that they would be able to find enough nectar at this time of the year here.
Right.
But
There's not too much nectar going around here right now. I mean, it's in the 40s right now. It's like, well, my monitor or computer says it's 41 right now. It got up to about 50, 55 degrees today, but it was really sunny for the first time in a long time, and it was quite warm. It was a really good flying day for them. And but it gets kind of, I watched Ian Stepler, where they were crashing inside the building up there.
right.
And I'm like, man, I said, it's not, I don't have mine in a building, but I'm having the same issue here, that they're just blowing through their food. And it's like, I've never had that problem before as far as, sugar water goes.
And then he said that it seemed a lot of his colonies had I won't call it nosema, but they had diarrhea. And he said that's kind of unusual. I mean, they do poop a lot when they first come out, but
Yeah, but if you looked inside that shed, you had the scat all over the front of it and everything else.
Right.
And I've had that one time, and of course, I think I was listening to the Fat Bee Man at the time, and we were using tea tree oil, I guess is what it was. I was putting in my sugar mix. But since then, here in the last year or two, I haven't really fooled with any of that kind of stuff.
Right. I haven't really put in. I mean,
it's just getting to the point where it's like it's getting more and more expensive for all these little add-ons, and I don't think the add-ons really amount to anything.
right.
Yeah, it's like all those boys, on the Scream team, they're all about Hive Alive. Of course, they're getting a kickback of some sort, or a discount or something.
I got a discount code for them, and yeah, it gives the person that's buying a discount, and then you make a little bit if they purchase. But you have to sell a bunch to really make any money of substance to even do that.
I don't know. Like those guys were putting fondant on, and I'm like, man, you guys, it's almost too late for that. And they were putting pollen patties on, and the pollen was coming in. Well, my experience around here, I got pollen patties I had on some of them 10 framers. Never used them hardly. Of course, maybe because they're a year old.
Hey, that's right. Hey, Jack, I live in Hopkins as well. Yep. Do you know if there's much nectar? It should be starting up. There's a little bit of nectar coming in right now. I live right down the road from you. I live in Hopkins. I live in on Lowell Richland Boulevard. So if you're ever over this way, pop in and see me. There is a little bit of nectar coming in, but not a lot. In the next few weeks, it should be kicking off. Hopefully, I'm hoping by the third week in April, we should be really going at it, which is kind of how I tried to time my my Demaray. Tried to time that, which now has no queen cells in it. I did split the rest of those queen cells out today. Put it in a nuke box right next to it, and I actually shook. I put one frame with the queen cells in the little bit of brood that was left on that, and shook 2 other frames of bees in there with them. So, and they're in a nuke right next to the Demaray. I mean, they're literally set down right next to them, and hopefully that'll work for him. And
Weston Lake is where he lives.
Yeah, he lives right down Leesburg Road, which is my road and Leesburg Road intersect. Weston Lake is on Fort Jackson, so he lives literally probably 5 minutes from me.
But so anyway, like I say, I've been, tending to the nukes the one night, and then this afternoon I got out there and worked on them hives to where I pulled the 3rd box out. And I don't know, when I go through the first inspection, I usually scrape all the frame rest. That way the frames are easy to move and push around, and
Right.
it takes more time, but to do all that. And then what I do in this here single brood chamber management is I put all the brood down in the bottom box, and then I try to put most of the empties, that I can put in on the top. So she'll, go up. Then I put a queen excluder on, put a honey super on. And I got 4 more to do tomorrow if the weather cooperates. And I think we'll be okay. I don't know. I got these nuke sales. I wish it would. My concern is if you give them a nuke now with cold weather at night, and you got people that don't know anything, they're going to kill them nukes.
Right.
Because they'll put them in a 10 frame box, and they're used to being in a 5 frame with lots of bees to
Right.
keep their body warm. So,
Well, luckily our lows are only going to be like 48 right now. So almost once they get to 50, 53, I'll be fine because my bees are out flying at 53 degrees. I'll see bees out. So
Oh yeah, if it's 50 degrees, they'll fly during the day. But what you say, when the nighttime temperatures don't go below 50, that's what I'm looking for.
yeah, right now we're hitting like 47 a couple nights, and that's it. Then it's all in the 50s after that.
That's, I find it quite interesting. Here you are, so far south from me, and your honey season is about the same time as mine, April, May, and June.
Mm-hmm.
And your weather temperatures are, well, now you've gotten probably a little more hotter during the daytime, I think, but your night times are almost about the same as ours to a certain extent.
I'm at 59 degrees right now, is what my desktop's saying. 58, 59.
Yeah, we're at 41.
So, and I think that's the biggest difference right there, the nighttime. One thing, I mean, I don't know, our foliage down here where I'm at is not terribly diverse. I mean, we've got some, but it's, but I think that
You got a lot of pine down there, don't you?
yeah, a lot of pine trees. And then what happens is it gets really hot and things die out. Where you guys probably have.
Yeah, what is your nectar source in your area? Trees or plants or?
Yeah, trees and a few plants. I mean, like I said, some of the plants and flowers that I have in the yard right now, the honeybees don't even mess with, but the carpenter bees do. And I saw some butterflies and stuff like that. But primarily, I've got dogwoods and stuff like that around. I got maples, some red tips and stuff like that, and magnolia, jasmine. Then we got the kudzu. So we do. I mean, we have stuff, and then later in the year we got the goldenrod, right? So
Yeah, sometimes we get we don't really, in where I live, I don't get a goldenrod flow at all. Then they talk about up here that there's two different types of goldenrod, and I'll get more of a pollen situation out of the goldenrod in the fall. Maybe a little bit of nectar, depending on the weather, how much rain and stuff there is. If you have rain ever so often, it'll keep that stuff going.
We get a bunch of like wild berries growing in the irrigation ditches and stuff like that. Wild raspberries, blackberries.
They like that.
And yeah, I mean, my front ditch for the first time that I've ever seen that's got the little berry flower, the white flowers from the wild berries are blooming in my front ditch out there. And I had bees on that. But as far as like some of my flowering bushes, no, they don't go to them too good. but yeah, so I'm curious. I mean, the queens, knock on wood, even the monster hive seemed like they were liking their queen that I put in there. So we'll see. They're eating the candy out. They don't look like they're trying to ball her. Of course, they might wait till she's out of the cage and then just shred her. I don't know. But they won't let live. Those cells that I took out of the Demeray colony and put in there, they tore them all down, every one of them. So the cell was not the answer for that one.
Was there a queen in there then?
No, there's no queen in that colony at all. No eggs, no laying worker. Just
Craig here says a hive alive is basically essential oils.
Yeah, and I don't know, has anyone really done a test on the essential oils? I mean, like a scientific test on essential oils?
Well, who was it? Frederick Dunn. About 5 years ago, he did a thing of just, a basic experiment where he put two.
I saw that he had the Boardman feeders out, or is it?
Yeah, he had them yellow-looking feeders.
Mm-hmm.
He had about 5 or 6 of them out there, and 2 of them had regular sugar water. 2 of them had Honeybee Healthy, and 2 of them had Pro Sweet, which or Pro Health, I guess it was. Well, I tried that Pro Health. The damn bees hate that crap. And then the first one that was completely consumed was just good old sugarwater. And then the one that had Honeybee Healthy in it was the next one in line. It was about, I'll say, 3/4 of an empty of a quart. And then Pro Sweet, they didn't hardly touch that stuff. Or Pro
Until
Health.
everything else was gone, right?
Is it ready?
I think it was yesterday.
Well,
I didn't get the email until today.
Anyway, I just, I used to get that Honeybee Healthy and do all that doctoring up, and it got up so where it was over $100 a gallon, and I said, you know what, forget it, and I seen that thing what Dunn did, and I said, well, that pretty much proves it right there as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Whatever the bees tell you is the right thing.
Right.
And so I just quit all that and, got rid of all that. You spend $100 in essential oils and, you can spend $100 on something else a lot more efficient.
Yeah. That's 5 hive bodies.
Yeah. Stuff like that, and,
Or 50 frames if you're buying plastic ones.
yeah, but,
Yeah,
that's talking about shipping. I bought those 6 cases of frame out of Acorn, and it was $200 worth of shipping on that. But
Yeah. So
what do? You want the frames? You got to buy them. You got to get them.
yeah, that's
Like you had to pay shipping on the bottles. Where with me, I live close enough. I can get the
you can go pick them up, right?
I'll pick them up.
Well, my thought was all right, so this is the way I think. I might be totally stupid about it, but this is the way I think. So I bought the bottles, I got the honey. I figured the expense that I made when I sell the honey will pay for everything that I bought, right?
You mean your bottles and
all the bottles and caps. So now the other 300 bottles that I have now cost me nothing. Right? I mean, essentially.
Now you say what?
So, I bottled up this honey.
Okay.
So this honey that I'm selling, by the time I sell this, it will have made more than what I spent on these caps and bottles. And I still have
yeah, but how much did you just have a small sale where you did $200 worth of honey or something?
No, I did 5 gallons. I did 5 gallons of honey, so 60 pounds.
So there's $600.
Yeah, so $600. I mean, that paid for all the bottles for me for the rest of the year.
Exactly.
So now all those bottles are free, right?
Well, that's the way I equate all the stuff that I buy. Is that people say, "Oh, a ProVap is $500," and I'm like, "Yeah," and I said, "How much does a hive cost you?" At least $300.
Right.
Considering bees. I mean, if a hive can give you, let's say, 50 pounds of honey, that's $500 income out of the honey. So one hive out of, let's say, 10 hives or 20 hives can pay for treating all your hives as far as for that gun. I mean, now you can get a lot. What's it called? Larrabies.
Larrabies.
Yeah. Well, he's a neighbor of mine and a friend of mine, and he lives only about a half an hour from my house, and his machine is, I'd say, about half price compared to the other one.
Yeah, it's $200 cheaper.
Oh yeah, that's considerable.
Oh yeah.
So
Tennessee Mountain Bees said, "You guys ever try Fat Bee Man's Brood Builder recipe? It's basically the same thing. He just takes the essential oils and puts them in water and then emulsifies them in a blender, just like Barnyard Bees does."
yeah, I had David down at Barnyard. He sent me the recipe up that he did, and I did all that kind of stuff, and blended it. I had a blender. You definitely want to buy a one of them. Go to the thrift store job and buy one of the blenders, and then every time you get done using it, make sure you wash it out really good, because that stuff will eat up the rubber in a heartbeat on those jars. And like I say, I did all that kind of stuff, and I don't see where it really builds the brood up. I mean, I think a lot of it, when it comes down to the brood, you got good queens. That's
Right.
that's what makes the difference.
Good queens, good nutrition,
And dead mites.
and dead mites. That's what Cayman says. Yeah, the
But-
wand is like $120. I didn't like the wand because you have to have a. They don't plug in, right? You got to hook them to a 12-volt source, or 12-volt source from a vehicle or something like that. So,
Well, I mean, really, the vaporizers have come a long way in a real short time, and Rob Pollock is who actually makes Larabi vaporizers, and he's got a good price on it. It's a good machine. It works fast, and it's like spend the extra $100 or $200 or whatever it costs you compared to a wand. You can buy I know a friend of mine, she bought one of these real El Cheapo wands, like from Man Lake, that's got like a little aluminum square on the end of it. It's kind of like offset with the rod.
right.
And that thing didn't last. It broke on her. It didn't last 10 treatments, and they wouldn't do nothing. They wouldn't do a thing for her, back it up or nothing.
Well, I think and it takes a long time for them things to heat up too.
Oh, you're looking at between 12 and 15 minutes per hive. Well, that's fine and dandy if you got 3 or 4 hives. But I mean,
do a
if you
whole
figure
hive
4
day.
hives at 15 minutes, that's an hour.
Right.
I can go out there, people say, well, there's some folks they'll get a converter, and I tried the converter that you hook up to your truck.
Right.
But what people don't understand, and I didn't understand it until an electrician told me, he says it doesn't, it'll say it's a 5,000 watt maximum converter. It can convert up to 5,000 watts. It does not produce that much from
Right.
he says if you hook it up to 12-volt battery, it only converts to 12 volts. The
Right.
way I'm not 100% on my electrician.
Yeah, I plugged mine into an inverter, and it didn't do it. So I had to plug it in.
Well, I mean, it worked on my ProVap, but he said over time, he says you're going to have to buy a new alternator for your truck.
Because it draws too much.
It's like running an appliance with not the right amount of current. You're like a refrigerator. If you don't have the right volume of current going to that appliance, over time that motor will burn up
Right.
because of lack of the amount of electricity going to it. That's why they want dedicated circuitry to those big appliances.
All right. So here's another question for Tennessee Mountain Bees. He asked, do you think it will help package bees draw comb out quicker?
What's that?
The essential oils, the brood builder recipe. I think that the best thing for that is just 1-to-1 or little 3/4 to 1 sugar water.
Actually, a little lighter, what they tell me.
And
A little bit lighter than 1-to-1. I think Bob Bennius has stated that in his videos.
well, the first thing with package bees, or any bees for that matter, they're not going to draw out more comb than they need or can use.
For package bees, yeah. I mean, you got to feed them. This is my opinion per se. Back to the good old nuke box as a tool.
Right.
Use it as a tool. If you think, and if you only got foundation, and you got good wax foundation, like triple wax or whatever, put them bees, that package of bees, in a 5-frame nuke box, and you have manipulated them to only focus on those 5 frames, and they'll draw those 5 frames out. And of course, now you should have 1-to-1 or a little lighter than 1-to-1, and they'll do a good job of drawing it out. And
That's what I found. My best thing was going to a nuke box and then going from a nuke box to a 5/5 nuke box.
That's right.
And then once they've drawn out 10 frames or 8 of the 10 frames, then move them if you're going to move them to a 10-frame box.
And I mean, you can keep on going if you want to. I've had them 4
deep?
boxes.
Oh, 4 deep?
I've had them. Well, actually, I've had them. Well, at least 3 deeps. I have them as high as 3 deeps. I mean, get 15 frames. And they, bees like to go up.
Right.
And it's like the one thing the old fat bee man stated, I think it was him talking about it. He says, what you got here is a rectangular tree that you can assemble and disassemble. And them bees will go right up there. Now, if you ever take notice, when you put a package in a 10-frame, let's say 10-frame deep or whatever, you're going to put them right in the middle. They're going to be in the middle on those 5 frames, maybe 6. And then you're going to have these straggler bees over here on the outer edge frames. They ain't doing nothing over there. They're just lazy bees, as I call them. And the bees in the middle are doing all the work.
Or they're chasing hive beetles around everywhere because they can't cover it.
Anyway, what I found is when, I keep telling people, I said, a nuke box is a tool. It's a way of manipulating. And like I say, you condense them bees on them 5 frames because you got, your 3-pound package has a nice solid cluster that will hang on them 5 frames, very thick. The bees will be thick on them 5 frames, and they'll work them things. And the queen's right there. And because she wants to lay, they're going to, she might start laying and they only got maybe 1/8 of an inch cell wall pulled out. And they're going to actually have to pull the cell walls out
so they can
while the egg is growing at the same time, And that's the way to do it. And then, of course, a lot of all this stuff is definitely in the springtime. That's when all the broods hatching, and that's when your worker bees or your nurse bees are the ones that do all the, they turn into wax bees and draw wax and stuff. You kind of have to know your biology. The later you get into the year, the harder it is to get them to draw the wax out.
Right.
And if you think about it, when it comes to, what is it, June 21st, the summer solstice, that from that point on, and you watch, she'll start backing off on her laying eggs, and very hard to get any wax drawn by that time. You got to get that wax drawn April, May, and June. And
right.
Because you got a flow coming in, they'll draw wax. And then if the flow, like you said, the flow isn't 1-to-1, it's a little bit less than 1-to-1. And
Right.
they'll draw that wax out. So you have to understand your bee, it's all about bee biology, a little bit of manipulation, and all that kind of thing. It's just like you were talking about those queens. I made some queens myself, and I had put one of my girls in a JZ Beezy cage, and I had it. I think I packed the fondant. Learning how to make fondant is it just, you just have to do it and kind of get the idea of it. As far as
Right.
you want it, you don't want it rock hard, but you don't want it super soft either because they'll blow through it overnight. And I laid that queen cage up on top of my nuke box, and I put what would you call it? Spacers or a ridge around. I put like a ridge around the inner cover on my nuke box so I could put a pollen patty in there or something like that.
Like a feeder
raises
ship.
it.
Like a feeder ring or a feeder ship.
Yeah, a rim. You put a rim. I actually stapled a stapled or screwed a like a, I don't know, a 3/8 rim or something like that around there, just kind of bring it up a little bit higher. It was just enough where I could lay that JZBZ cage flat on top of the frames, or maybe in between the frames a little bit. And like you said, I would come back a couple hours later, and I'd look, you'd sit there and really look at them and see what the bees are doing. They're coming up around that cage, and they're loving her. They're actually trying to feed that queen.
Right.
When you see that, where they're sticking their tongues in and feeding that queen, they've already accepted that girl. And she wasn't in there, but no more. And I don't know. I got kind of, it was like, of course, it didn't cost me anything because I made the queen myself, but she was a nice big girl too. And she looked really good. And she was, her pattern and the mating boxes were really good. So I let her, she was in there pretty much all day. Let's say 10 hours. I said, you know what, the heck with this. So I opened that darn JZBZ cage, popped it open in the court, that plug side.
Right.
She walked out, went down in there. I came back, I think either the next morning or that after. Maybe I did that during the day, and I came that afternoon. I found her. She's walking around. They didn't have a problem with her. They didn't kill her.
Yeah, I've done that in the past, and it's like I'd come out the next day, let her stay overnight, and then open her up and let her go in there, and they've balled her after that. And so I didn't. I'm fighting the urge right now.
Oh, I wouldn't with your new ones. I would
just let them eat.
Did you put a piece of tape?
No, they've just been eating the candy out of it.
Okay, so they'll probably release her within a couple days.
Yeah, some of the stronger colonies that she went into had the candy half gone already.
Really?
Yep. So
now there was somebody was telling me, who was it? I've seen it on the internet, I guess, on one of the YouTubes, where they took. Maybe it was Craig, the sideline beekeeper. He was talking about getting yourself some old masking tape, put it on the end of that thing, and
poke a little hole in it,
and take a pen needle, and just poke a hole in it like that, so it kind of slows them up. They can smell it, but they'll get in there.
They gotta work at it.
Got to work at it. So that's a good tip.
Well, they all seem to like her. So we'll see. See what happens.
How long have those nukes been queenless? A day or two?
No, they've. Oh well, all the new splits I made with queens, they had a queen until I made the split, and then but that one colony, I kept adding frames of brood in there with cells on it, trying to get them to take the cells. And they kept tearing them down, but there's no. I've been through every frame in there. There's no queen. There's no eggs.
Mm-hmm.
No larva. Nothing. So I just took a brood frame, made sure there's no more queen cells in there. Stuck her to the side in the brood comb on one side, and closed them back up, and they went on her. So we'll see.
Well,
hopefully,
as far as their feeding problem, get some fondant and put that on there.
I'll go get that tomorrow. And
yeah, I got to get off of here. It's getting late.
All right. Yeah, I've been on here for 2.5 hours. Probably time. But I appreciate all you guys. Thank you again, Charlie, for stopping in. And
I'm just glad that my queen fella can help you out there. I think you'll hopefully everything will go well with your queens. And
I think they've probably got they were piping all the way home. I could hear them piping in the box. So they were ready to go, and they were probably telling everybody else, in the box, hey, I'm in here, let me out. So,
well, I've had, there's always a problem child in any queen, don't matter where you get it from. But all in all, I found that their queens are one of the better choices to buy. And
Well, I mean, I'm now that I know where they're at and everything, I would have no problem selling nukes here now, as long as I could get a list where people wanted to come get them and they were prepaying where I could go get them, and they had a pickup date. I think it would work out pretty well.
yeah, because they're from what I understand, they're going to switch over to those Pro Nukes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They had probably 4 or 5 pallets of Pro Nukes underneath their shed.
Yeah, well, they were having a hard time getting them, and they all had their own good old wooden boxes.
But they got the same incubator you have. And Lord, I've never seen so many queen cells in my life. He opened that refrigerator up, and every shelf just had racks and racks and racks of queen cells. I said, so I asked him a question, which is probably, I said, well, what do you guys do if you don't have them sold and they're getting ready to hatch out, the queen cells and all? He says, we put them in the freezer. They just terminate them. If they don't have a place for the queen to go. He actually gave me a couple queen cells for nothing. He says, here, have these, because, I don't have.
Well, did they sell you that battery box, or did you have one?
No, they gave it to me.
Really?
I ordered 10 queens. They put them in the battery box and gave it to me.
Yeah, because that thing ain't cheap.
And well, the queens ain't cheap either.
No,
$30. I mean, that is pretty cheap compared to what you're seeing them online. Hell, I could go get queens and sell them to people for $40 and make $10 a queen just for going to pick them up.
Well, that's like I talked to my friend today, and like you say, I don't know what he's get his prices, but they're going to be like
I know the
they're
cheapest
going to
is
be close to
$40.
$40, I think, retail.
I know on some people are getting, like obviously like big people like Man Lake and stuff that do a lot of nukes. They're getting about $128 a piece.
For what, a package?
Five frame nuke.
That's cheap.
Yeah, that's the wholesale price.
Oh, the wholesale price.
So
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, most nukes around here are $200 a piece.
Yeah, so they're making $32 each one profit or something like that.
Yeah,
So
that's like my friend. He'll buy 500 of them.
yeah, so he's probably getting the 128 price.
He's making probably that, I guess.
So
But well, the other thing is you have to. I don't know. I mean, it's like dealing with the public. You have to put up with that situation, or a new person that doesn't know anything, and they'll say, well, this happened or that happened. I'm like, well, or they'll. The good one normally is you'll get one of their packages or nukes, and it's a lot of bees. I mean, you better put it in 10 frame darn quick as soon as you get home. And you get these people that don't get it. They don't understand that you gotta. It's very urgent.
right.
When you get bees like that, you should be in a very urgent mode. And it's like when I get queens, they say, they'll last 5 or 6 days. I'm like, no. I said, I want them things in, if I get them that evening, I want to put them in the next day.
Yeah, I literally drove home and went to making splits and putting them in quick as possible. I want those bees taken care of.
Exactly. You got a lot of bucks there, and they need to be, you can't, don't mess around. And
Thank Brooklyn.
And all that stuff. But people, there's so many people out there that just don't have the concept. So
Yeah, the value of a queen is not the price, Craig. I mean, I get that. If I was raising my own queens and they killed one, I wouldn't feel as bad. is if I paid $30 and they killed one.
Well, that's the
And if you're buying 10 queens, it's $300. You know, it's
Yeah.
not.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. So
Well,
making-
what I'm getting at is that's where when you learn how to make your own queens, that's where that sustainability comes in. When you can do that, that's when your attitude changes. It's where it's like you said, oh, they killed that queen. Or let's say you got a queen there that ain't performing very well and you need to replace her. Well, now you're looking at that queen and saying, now that's going to be $30 there. Maybe we can pet her along. Whereas if you're making your own queen, it don't cost you per se anything.
you hive
It's,
tester.
it's like,
Hive tool tester.
yeah, you hive tool tester and go on, and you come back a day later or half a day later, and let's say a day later, and then you put a cell in there. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Or you get yourself a mated queen out of your mating boxes.
And they sell the cells for $5 a piece.
Yeah.
So I could go. Technically, if we want to do math about it, I could have got, well, for $300, I could have got 60 queen cells. So now, do all those return back? No. So my thing was, I had some urgent situations with big colonies that were queenless that I didn't want them to diminish to the point.
Well, a cell's 30-day. A cell is a 30-day thing.
So
You
with
know.
the queen, they 3 days to get her out of the cage, right?
And
Then I don't know, how long do you think she'll walk around the cage before she starts dropping eggs?
Some of them will drop within a day, and some of them might take 2 or 3 days.
So
I had one here. It was from Kudik. I think it was. Pretty sure it was. And it's like, I seen her. I thought they had killed her. She wasn't laying. And I'm like, what is wrong with this queen? And as soon as the weather warmed up to that 50-degree mark or whatever, she had 2 darn frames laid up. It was all about, it was too cold. She wasn't going to do it. She was, it was 40 degrees and she wasn't going to do anything until it got 50 degrees or better.
Yeah, they're not completely free, but once you master it, if you can make 50 of them and, you have that as a resource, there is, time and energy. It's a time expense more than it is, and some equipment. But if you spend $100 for a queen rearing whole setup, I mean, that in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't, that pays for itself really quick, right?
I mean, you're going to pay, let's say, you're going to get a dozen Chinese grafted things off of Amazon, and you get yourself a couple grafting frames and bars. The only other expense is cups. Get them from from, let's say, Man Lake.
Which can be reused, and the cages can be reused.
The cups, sometimes you can reuse them. The Jay-Z Beezy cups you can reuse.
Well, the difference was, for me, not that it's a big difference, but there were some colonies that needed queens quickly.
Yeah.
So,
well, in your situation, buying a mated queen is a good option. You're trying to build your system up colony wise, and you're trying to get it done as quick as you can. And it's spring.
right.
So it's like, okay, let's invest in our bees, get some mated queens, and let's get them 24 colonies that you want up and running.
Right.
You might not get all honey out of them this year, but at least you're gonna, you have the numbers. Then you might lose some during the winter, but you still have the numbers. And all that stuff. So, all right, I got to get off. It's bedtime. So,
All right, Charlie, I'm going to answer one more question after you jump off, and let me see what William's saying here. Correct, but how much money in honey would I have made? I agree that making your own queen is better. That's why I do it. Still, I traded hundreds of dollars just to make the mating nukes alone. Yeah, I mean, but you don't have to. Okay, so I understand what you're saying. But you don't have to make mating nukes to make queens. You can make queens in 10 frames. You can make queens in 5 frames. So you could, I mean, you don't have to do that. I mean, that's the choice, right?
Well, it's like the hives behind me. They're 2-frame mating boxes. I made them myself.
Right.
You know, of course, I had to lumber because of my business and all. But your initial investment is a couple mating boxes, or mating frame, or grafting frames.
Right.
Your grafting tool, your eye, magnification, and I would recommend you don't have to have an incubator, but the problem without one is if your cells are hanging down, they will put bird comb between them, and that's a pain. I did that the one year where I had to take a razor blade, and then you would break one open. Well, heck, you just lost a queen and all that time and effort put into it. So that's when I go in there, and in 6 days' time, they're capped. I pull that frame out of that nuke box and then put it in my incubator, which is all of a refrigerator.
Right.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, so I use primarily, like I started off with mostly nukes and then graduated my nukes, like we were talking about, 5/5. Then I lost one to Crazy Comb this first round. Hey, but I envy you because you're actually making the steps in doing it and trying to get it done. Yeah. And eventually, if you start selling queens, all of that expense that you put in the beginning, you'll recoup at some point.
Look at it this way. If you can I sell cells here for $10. So if you get, let's say I'll do 20 cells, I'll grab 20. Let's say you get 15 out of the 20. That's $150. You just made back out of one graft set a good portion of your expense.
Right.
And all that stuff. So, all right. Well, I mean, to me, and another thing, and I'll sign off with this, is the fact that I find grafting, you're playing it. I call it playing a game between you and the bees. The bees will let you know how good you are by the acceptance rate. So if you can get a 80% acceptance rate out of 20, that's great. 80, 90%. If you can do that, that's wonderful. I mean, if you're just first starting out and only getting 50, you get 10 out of 20. Still good. Right. To me, I look at it as a game. It's kind of like, I think they call it, like with golf, you're playing against yourself. Well, queen rearing is kind of like that way. But it makes me feel good that, hey, you get those cells and you put them in that 2-frame mating box, and you come back 3 weeks later, or 2 weeks, let's say 2 weeks, and she's starting to lay, and she's a nice, let's say by the 3rd week, you can see what she's going to look like. She's a nice big fat girl laying up a storm, and I'm like, hey, I created that, or I helped created it.
Right.
And it makes, it's like, hey, satisfaction. Look what I did. So, all right, I got to sign off. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, guys, we'll call it for tonight. We appreciate every one of you guys. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to Kodiak Farms and Walker Bee Ranch if you're on Kodiak Farms watching this. And, check out Sawmill Charlie. Check out Curtis, the junior beekeeper. Check out all the people we've had online. We appreciate you. Check out William on Dry Cut Homestead. We're all doing interesting stuff. If you like watching bees and talking about bees, join us on Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We'll be right here for our official chat, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys and gals for that matter. Have a good night.